As many of you guys know, the Philadelphia 76ers now officially have the worst record in basketball. Things have just continued to get worse and worse and worse for the team that's coached by Nick Nurse.
Ron, stop right there. Wait, Ron. Wait, I want to make sure I heard you correctly. Did you say the worst record in basketball? So not in the Atlantic Division, not in the Eastern Conference.
No.
In the whole league, the 30-team league, there's nobody in the league that got a worse record than Philly.
In the National Basketball Association, the Philadelphia 76ers are 2-12. That's below the Hornets, the Raptors, the Wizards. That's below the Utah Jazz, the Pelicans, the Blazers, the Spurs, and anybody else that you think may be garbage.
No way that this is going on. Unbelievable. I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly, Ron, because that just doesn't sound correct to me at all. It just doesn't. The worst record in the league, considering what they have.
And now officially, Tyrese Maxey has came back from his injury. But in light of him coming back from his injury, Paul George just hyperextended the same knee that he injured in the preseason. And then on top of that, Joel Embiid comes back. And he's not really looking up to who Joel is. He did have a good game last night. But Joel is still trying to get back to his form. And also there's locker room turmoil. And Joel came out and said a couple things regarding that. Were you guys able to see this?
I was not.
I think I've seen that he said basically he's not happy with whoever leaked the news and stuff.
Yes. So this is exactly what Joel said. What's going on, Penn?
What's good?
Hello.
How's it going, Mars?
It's wonderful, man. It's wonderful.
Pembroke, what's up, brother?
Joel said, regarding the news that leaked on Monday's meeting with the team, Joel said, whoever leaked that is a real piece of shit. He said, we talked about a lot of things. He said,
I'm sorry.
Whoever leaked that is a real piece of shit. We talked about a lot of things. I don't want to get into the details, but that whole thing was probably took 30 seconds. Obviously, that was with the team meeting that they had, and Maxey called out Joel for being late for everything.
Is he not meant to feel that way? Like anytime private stuff gets leaked from the team, that's how the players are probably how they all feel. Like now, Joel's probably saying it with more conviction because it makes him look bad. But the fact of the matter is, you never want private conversations to be leaked. And when it's someone who you're supposed to trust, is someone on your team, that makes it worse. I mean, if PC had a behind the scenes meeting and then it got out to the chat and they started hearing about it.
We did last night about you.
Well, I mean, I'm worth having meetings.
Damn, Penn, you're a real piece of shit.
But
my bad.
But I'm sure we wouldn't be happy if that stuff got out. Like,
sure, absolutely.
Meant to keep those things in house. I don't think I don't think this is news for, but.
So two things. Number one, quick side note: didn't Joel go for like 35 and 10 last night? I just want to put that.
Yeah, they lost.
And
he wasn't that great. He wasn't.
No, he wasn't. No, he was not. He looked slow. He looked lethargic. He looked dumpy. However, whoever leaked that, they think the same thing about you, Joe. Just so you know, that's why they leaked it. Because this isn't something that just started. This has been going on for quite a while, and they sick of you. Now, what I would rather, Mars, if you were sick of me, that you tell me to my face. That'd be nice. I'd much rather you just tell me to my face if you got a problem with me. But this clearly hasn't been working because maybe he did tell him to his face, yo, we sick of your antics, and it hasn't worked because this has been going on for quite some time. So how about we do this? How about we tell everybody this is who this guy is? This is what he's been doing, and this is not going to stop. He's been doing this for years. Because this is who he is. Now, Mars, I can appreciate the logic that what's in-house should stay in-house. I get that. 100% I get that. But at some point, And I don't ever think that stuff in-house should be leaked. I'm not going to argue that. But at some point, you get sick of people. And you have to get their attention in some way. 100% you got to get their attention in some way. Now, the way Joel could clean this up, Joel could have cleaned this up very simply. You know what? The way I've been acting and the way I've been conducting myself is unacceptable, and that needs to change. I need to hold myself more accountable, and that needs to change. And I will. And that would have been the end of it. That's the end of it. I don't have to come out and give a statement about what I should be doing. No. You know what? My behavior has been unacceptable over the course of time, and I need to change that, and I will. End of story. That would have been the end of it. But whoever leaked this, they leaked it because they sick of Joe. And the way you said that this person is a piece of you know what, they feel the same way about you. That's why they put it out there.
Who cares who leaked it at this point? Like I'm obviously I've spoken on this type of things before, and it's like, you know, what happens in the house should stay in the house, but that's irrelevant at this point. Right? Like you said, Chill. Like, where's your accountability? Where's your accountability? You're blaming somebody for breaking the story instead of just fixing the problem. You know what I'm saying? There should never be a story. The story should be non-existent. There should be no my franchise player is late to meetings. My franchise player is late to the bus. My franchise player is late to the plane. My franchise player shows up when he wants to show up. My franchise player is crying to the media, talking about how much I've done for the city. Get your ass here on time. You know what I'm saying? Hold yourself accountable. Nobody else should have to hold you accountable. You're the franchise player. Tyrese Maxey, of all people, not to say Tyrese Maxey isn't a great player, but he's a young fella. Of all people, he shouldn't have to be the one to call you out. There should be nothing to call out. Now, where's the accountability? Oh, he's a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit.
See, when you're 2-12 and you're supposed to be a championship contender and you just went all in, there's gonna be a story. Yep. The only question is, what's the story? What's gonna be the story? Because if you don't, and that's the whole job of the media. That's why people leak stuff, because they want to control the story, right? So if you don't put out all this stuff about Joel Embiid, what's the story? Daryl Morey's an asshole. Mm-hmm. If you don't put out that story, then it's Nick Nurse the asshole. And if it's not Nick Nurse, then it must be Paul George. Or maybe if it's not Paul George, then maybe it's Tyrese Maxey, who struggled mightily as the one player who has played a lot of those games. Mm-hmm. Or then maybe it's the bench. It's always going to be a scapegoat. My issue with this, and it's not really an issue, really, but it's more a commentary, is of all the cities in the world to be called this, to have this narrative come out about you, Philly might be the worst place in the world where you want this narrative floating in the ether, because that fan base will boo your ass. And they love Joel Embiid. They really do. They've always supported him. Yep. Through the Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid beef, they always supported Joe. They rooted for him for MVP. But now this stuff comes out about you, that's going to be hard to stand by.
But Penn, question. So, like you just said, there always needs to be a story. Is that correct? And sure. there has to be a scapegoat. So the fact that our franchise point guard, has now pointed this out about you. Like, we hear about coaches, right? We hear about coaches, we hear about general managers. How often do we hear about the best player on the team? Not very often do we hear about the best player on the team.
We heard about Shaq.
I was about to say that's the last time I was thinking with Brian and with Brian and Shaq. And that was to Ox's point, he was in year 5. I think we're around that time with Maxey. I think we're around year 4, year 5 with Maxey, something like that. But with that being said, we don't hear about this often, which means this has been going on for quite a while. Nick Nurse just got the job. With Nick Nurse just getting the job, we can't I don't think we can put this on him. Paul George just got here. The best player on the team, who is Joel Embiid, the franchise player who was on the team, who, to Mars's point, the guy who can control the most. I can control being here on time. I can control being where I'm supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be there. I can control that. There should never be a question about my availability. Not on the floor, but when we're supposed to be, when I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be. That should never wonder, yo, where Ox at? We got a meeting at 12 o'clock. Yo, where Chill at? You should never, okay, the plane leaves at 3 o'clock. Yo, where Chill at? The bus leave at 3:30. Yo, where Chill at? That should never be in question, ever. Practice is at 10 o'clock. And yo, where Chill at? That should never be questioned, ever. Whether I'm available in terms of physically, if I can run or not, that's something different. But I'm going to be here. That should never be questioned. And the fact that that's questioned, this has been going on for a long time, Penn. And
But
whoever
why
leaked this,
are
they're
we
sick of
talking
it.
about Joel? Why are we talking about Joel Embiid being late? Why is that the one thing we're talking about? I'm not excusing him being late. He needs to be on time. I'm not excusing that. But why are we specifically talking about that?
That's
and
serious.
not all the other stuff?
Mhm.
Well,
Because there's a lot of other stuff.
I mean, who's to say what else was talked about in that meeting? To your point,
It's out there.
though, reported, but I'm saying, but to your point though, reporters are gonna pick up that story because it's Joel Embiid. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be a big
Right.
deal to people. But also, I look at that as a serious thing, Penn. When you're one of the better players and you're just, it seems like you're taking this lackadaisical, you're lollygagging or whatever. And I'm gonna keep bringing it up. You're going to the Olympics when your knees already ground beef like that. That's I think people to Chill's point are tired of Joel Embiid with these antics. So I understand where you're coming from, and maybe there's just not time to address everything. So they grab the bigger story. But I do think that when your record is 2-12 and your franchise player is just acting like this, I think that's a serious thing. Penn, I got to speak on it as well, because Penn, all full transparency, but I've been that guy that's just acting unprofessional, and I'm supposed to be the leader. I'm one of the better players on the team, and I'm just walking in when I feel like it. I'm not doing what I'm told. I'm just, and it's cancerous. It's toxic, bro. The players that aren't as good as that player, they're looking at that like, man, if he could do that shit, why can't I? Why do I got to be here on time if he's not on time? That is the worst thing you can have on a team, is one of your better players acting like they can do what the fuck. My bad.
So you're saying the Sixers need to hire you to be Joel Embiid's spiritual guru right now?
No, not at all. I don't. Why would Joel Embiid listen to a guy like me? You know what I'm saying? But
Because you've been there.
Well, either way though, Penny, it's really cancerous, bro. And that that's off the court stuff. On the court stuff can be fixed real easy, but you gotta be together. You got to be a team. And I think Tyrese Maxey calling him out, I don't think it's a bad thing. Those are the type of things somebody has to do it, and that's the thing that's going to have to fix this team. And it's still early enough for them to turn this thing around. Joel Embiid might wake up like, you know what, Tyrese, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? I was doing the wrong thing. Thanks for holding me accountable. Let's get this shit together.
I think there's a lot to be said here, but let me try to broaden this conversation before we go way too deep into the Joel Embiid stuff, right? Number one, concept of false consciousness, right? We've all heard it. I'm assuming, but to those of you who don't know what false consciousness is, basically the concept of redirecting frustration into a different direction, right? So you're mad at your boss. He's like, oh, my boss is coming down on me. So now you're not mad at your boss anymore, right? You're mad at the left. The left points the finger to the right, right? You're mad at the GM. GM's like, I don't know, my coach can't coach. I don't know what you want me to do. Always trying to direct the blame somewhere else. So nuance is important here. It's important to realize that the Sixers have only played 16% of their season. That's a stat worth noting, right? There's still plenty of time. They're playing in a depleted East. That's also worth noting. 92 teams have started out 2-12. 6 of them have made the playoffs. None of them made it past the first round. That's the math. Now you got to beat the math. Now, what we're not talking about, what I said, like, oh, we got to talk about the other stuff, is Nick Nurse's quotes. Nick Nurse has released a lot to the media, and I'll talk more about that later when we get to Nick Nurse, if we ever do get to Nick Nurse, because we should get to Nick Nurse.
Well, we are talking about the Sixers, right?
We should talk about Nick Nurse.
Talk about him.
He said teams are being tougher than us. That sounds like a coach calling out his team, right? They get dispirited. We don't react well when things don't go our way. I have not really heard, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, Nick Nurse come out and say, my offense is butt cheeks.
Why is your offense butt cheeks though, Penn?
Okay, well let's hone in on let's
talk about that. Let's discuss that.
Let's hone in on some stats here.
Please.
You're 30th in offensive rating.
Okay.
How?
Don't stop there. Don't stop there, Penn. Don't stop there. Keep going. You're 30th in offensive rating. You're at the bottom of the league in 3-point.
You're a middle of the pack
percentage.
defense. You're 30th in offensive rating. You're 29th in points. I think 30th or 29th in assists.
Yes, sir.
I don't feel the offense has made a hell of a lot of sense this year.
Absolutely.
And I feel that all of this conversation about Joel Embiid shoving reporters, Joel Embiid, now he's late. I'm gonna guarantee you the relationship between Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, that quote has been blown way out of proportion.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. It has been blown way out of proportion. It was probably just Tyrese Maxey being like, hey, and you can't be late for stuff. Probably like 800 words, and you can't be late for everything. And that's the part we're honing in on. Joel Embiid is late for everything. Does anyone here actually believe Joel Embiid is late for everything?
Yes.
No,
I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
every plane,
everything.
You can't
see that. That's the
everything.
thing.
We probably late a lot.
There's a difference between every time, Pen, and everything.
Okay. It doesn't have to be.
Those
it
two
doesn't
things
even
are
have
not
to
the
be
same.
most of the
I'm not
things.
coming
It
here
could
to
just be
defend
the
Joel
important
Embiid.
things.
I'm not coming here to defend Joel Embiid. I'm coming here to bury Nick Nurse. That's
So
let's get the agenda clear. Okay.
I can get with that, Pin.
So I'm gonna say this: the last time Nick Nurse coached a team that wasn't the Philadelphia 76ers, it was my Toronto Raptors.
There we go.
The most dysfunctional locker room I have ever seen in my life. There were coaches mid-season asking other teams if they had jobs because they knew none of them were keeping their jobs. That's a fact. Okay. There was reporters I know that went into the locker room and said it's the quietest locker room they've ever seen. There was leak after leak after leak as the team underperformed before trading for Jakob Poeltl. It was a constant issue to keep anything in-house with that team. There was numerous reports about Scotty Barnes having sudden work ethic issues. There were reports about Scotty Barnes being an unserious teammate because he became a very convenient scapegoat. Now, I want to be clear. I don't think Joel Embiid has been well. He has not played well. I don't like his quotes. I don't like a lot of the stuff that he's been doing. I don't like the fact that he played for Team USA and now he's talking about not playing back-to-backs. I get all of that. I do 100%. I'm with you. I don't need any extra gasoline to flame Joel Embiid. Okay. You know, I've had a lot of issues with him over the years. But to make it seem like this is all him and everybody else just gets to walk away and he's not playing, how the hell is it his fault?
Okay, so let's rewind.
He's not playing. That's why it's his fault.
Yeah. Let's talk about
Paul George, Tyrese Maxey. I'm sorry. We talk about Tyrese Maxey like he's a young star.
He's the franchise player, P.
Who's a franchise? Okay, Joel Embiid is a franchise player. I get you. He's a franchise player.
You running around Paris.
I get it, but that's what I'm talking about. There was already so much venom in the air towards Joel Embiid, right? So I'm just saying, like, this offense doesn't really make sense. And I'm sorry, I'm not seeing the easiest looks in the world for Tyrese Maxey. I watched this team play without Joel Embiid and Paul George. It's not, and be clear, I'm not putting it on Tyrese Maxey to say, oh, it's all your fault. He was 23 years old for the most part of this season. He just turned 24. Okay, he's a young all-star. He's a great player, super hard worker. No one's blaming Tyrese Maxey. He's probably the least blameless person. But can he take some blame? He played really bad this year, right? Can the offense take some blame for being super uninnovative and really, really bad? And I'm going to tell you something else about Nick Nurse. He don't really play the bench. Nobody developed here. There was talks about team culture, selfishness. This was one of the best cultures in the league, the Toronto Raptors under Dwayne Casey. Everybody developed. Everybody got better. The scouting was elite. And suddenly it just all went away. And suddenly nobody's getting better. Delano Banton gone. Malachi Flynn not developing.
Leaving some things out, Penn. You are.
You're leaving
some things out. Okay, so let's rewind. First and foremost, the reason why the Philadelphia 76ers are last in offense and everything that you talked about is because of Joel Embiid not being available. Everything that they do is predicated on Joel Embiid. I want you to imagine the Denver Nuggets
in the East, Joe.
Even if
you should be able to beat Philly,
even if they played in the East, I don't care if they played in the Big East. Everything that they're doing is predicated on Joel Embiid.
Is that a problem, though? Isn't that a problem?
Yes, that's a problem.
If your entire offense falls apart with one player out, you're telling me they don't got talent? They don't got talent. Caleb Martin not talented?
Even if Caleb Martin is talented, when you have the league leading scorer on your team, you have arguably the best big man in the league on your team. You have the guy who you running your offense through entirely. Everything that you do offensively. On defense, he's your best rebounder. He's your best rim protector. He's your best interior defender. Everything. He's the post holding up this tent.
But I was told they have the best backup center in the league in Andre Drummond, and I vomited in my mouth. But I heard it. I heard it from a lot of people.
I think that Andre Drummond is a great backup center. 100%.
Great. I mean, you were probably the person I heard it from.
I think he's a great backup center. However,
what about Gershon Yabusele? He's been great.
He is not
Jared
Joel
McCain.
Embiid. No, he is
not. No
not
one said he's Joel Embiid, but you should be able to
that's
hold
the
water.
Point. That's the point. So There's a reason why the Denver Nuggets go to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean when Joker is off the floor, because everything
Joel
that they
Embiid
do
is not
predicated.
Jokic.
That for Philadelphia, he is.
And please be
For the
clear,
Philadelphia 76ers,
Paul George is
he
way better than Michael
100%.
Porter Jr.
But
right?
here's the difference.
This season.
No, this season it doesn't look.
Yeah,
that
maybe
good.
4 years ago, Pin.
This season it doesn't
Last
look like
year.
that. This season it doesn't look like that.
Y'all too high on PG.
And
Has Jared McCain outplayed Jamal Murray this year by like 100 times? Yes, he has. Okay, so it's not like let's not act like, oh, if
You
Nikola
expect
Jokic.
Jared McCain to carry the squad, Pin. Come on, bro.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, and I will. I will expect it.
But if he's
You
going
can't
to do
really
it and he's going to
expect that.
TikTok dance about it, I'm going to let
very
him.
disappointed, Mars. You're going to be very disappointed if you keep
100%
expecting Jared
you are.
McCain to carry the squad. I'm with you on the I'm with you on the Nick Nurse thing. I've been trying to tell these guys they're way too high on Nick Nurse. I've been saying it for over a year that Nick Nurse is not who they think he is. But Pin, we can't just act like they're supposed to win a bunch of games without Joel Embiid.
Can we talk about the one quote that we're not talking about, which
What's
is an internal rumor and that is confirmed from an inside source
So it's not a
that that players are demanding to be coached harder by Nick Nurse.
I highly doubt it.
No, it is confirmed.
even if that's true, Penn, what you're doing is you leaving out stuff with Nick Nurse. Okay, first of all, Nick Nurse gets on that crew in Toronto, and he was already on the bench previous to that.
5 years.
He was already on the bench previous to that. He gets on that crew, they win the NBA championship. You lose the best player. Hang on. You lose the best player that you've ever had at that point, and you win the NBA championship. The next season, if Leonard stays, you're in the finals at minimum. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
Okay. The next year, you basically have to play 72 road games because you got to move to Tampa. And with moving to Tampa, this completely throws off everything that you guys are doing. So now this crew is in disarray. So we can't just talk about Toronto like, Toronto's still rolling when they were in Toronto. No, call it to a monkey wrench. What you guys are doing.
If you went into Golden State tomorrow as their interim coach, you'd win that game.
I don't
Okay.
know, man.
You might, unless you're really dumb, you probably win that game because a lot has been put in place for you already, right? A lot of culture has been built up for you, offensive habits, development. A lot of it has been built up. Your coaching staff has been built up, organizational culture. But you stay for a couple years, you're going to get exposed. And that's
100%.
the thing. Luke Walton, who Ox might know a little something about Luke Walton, right? We saw him go, run the table with Golden State, right? People talking about him like he might be one of the best coaches ever. Oh my God, this generational coach is sitting in Golden State. I bought the hype too. I drank the Kool-Aid like an idiot.
With the Lakers.
And then you see him coach another team by himself, and he's got to implement an offense, and he's got to manage the egos, and suddenly
Penn,
what?
Ben McLemore really could have been a generational prospect.
Oh Lord. Please,
Marvin Bagley really had a whole lot of promise and talent.
Marvin Bagley could have for sure.
It's just certain
Generational.
locations. It just
Not
it sucks.
Talented.
It saps you of everything
I
that you're
think we're being a
supposed
little
to
bit
really be.
disingenuous about what's going on with Nick Nurse in Toronto. That's all. And with him,
I
being in
watched it
Philadelphia.
happen. I watched it happen.
and I did
I
too, and I
watched
think
some
they had a good
really
thing
good
going on.
dudes fall
Yeah,
apart.
they had a good thing going on. They had a good thing going on in
Nick
Toronto.
Nurse's
and some things screwed it
motivational
up.
Nick Nurse's motivational agenda with players is basically to get them paid. Like that's basically like what's good for you, what's good for me. Okay, I don't respect nobody who wears their initials on their cap. I don't respect anybody who leads a leaky locker room. I don't respect anybody who basically refuses to take accountability. I don't respect anybody who at any point refuses to take accountability. It's always about, let me give you the litmus test of a loser. Okay. A litmus test of a loser is when you lose, you should say I. When you win, you should say we. Losers do the opposite. Losers say we when they lose, and they say I when we win. That's the loser test. Okay.
What does it make you if you say we for both?
Makes you collaborative.
Would you make it if you say I for both?
Narcissist.
Okay. I'm just Penn. I'm looking at this Philly team, and the fact that this Philly team relies on Joel Embiid as much as they rely on Joel Embiid, and the fact that he's not going to be available as much, that throws a monkey wrench in everything that they're doing. I keep reiterating the point of if Joker is not in Denver, that team goes to pieces. Completely and utterly. You're asking Mike Malone to do the impossible now. Because Joker is the tent, that Joker is the post that's holding up that tent. If Joker is gone, they're gone. Joel Embiid is the post that's holding up that tent. Now, if he's the post that's holding up that tent, he needs to conduct himself that way. You need to show up on time. You need to have yourself in better shape. I don't agree with Ox with the idea of him missing the Olympics. First and foremost, he came into the game broken. So I have to respect the fact that he's going to be broken. So him taking off the whole summer, that's just a recipe for disaster. He already came into camp 20 pounds. Oh, he already came into camp losing 20 pounds. So the fact that he came into camp losing 20 pounds, that tells me that, okay, he still was in good shape. If he had
losing weight don't
mean
you a good shape. Just because you lose weight doesn't mean you're in good shape. I've seen a bunch of crackheads lose some weight. But chill. How is resting your body a recipe for disaster?
For how long though? I mean, we don't get now. First of all, Ox, don't forget. Okay, they lost when they lost to the Knicks. That series was over at the end of April. Training camp for the Olympics didn't open until July 1st. That's 2 months. That's 2 months that he had to do nothing. Rest his body. The gold medal game was August the 10th. Training camp didn't open till the end of September. I have plenty of time to rest my body. We already know who he is physically. Like you just told me, that knee is chopped liver. What is 6 months going to do? Which is what it would have been if he didn't play in the Olympics. What is that going to do for him, Ox?
He could have spent that time rehabbing. He could have went and got that stuff that Dirk and Kobe used to go get in their knee when they go, you know what I'm talking about. He could have went to that. He could have been spending time in the pool. He could have been doing anything besides running around.
I can do that anyway. I can do that anyway, Ox. Even during the Olympics, I can do that. I can do that after the Olympics. I can do that.
Well, I'm not a doctor. I just think that I don't never think resting a bad knee is a bad thing.
Oh, it's always a good thing. 100%. It is a good thing. But the question is I'm an athlete. I can't just sit around and do nothing, or I can't sit around and do minimum. No, I'm a pro athlete. I have to stay active because Joel Embiid is one of those guys who I wouldn't be surprised after he stopped playing. Joel Embiid blew up. He'll be one of those dudes.
I can see that, but what I'm saying is you never know how.
You know what I mean when I say blow up, Mars. You know what I mean when I say
right?
blow up.
But you never know till how long it'll take you to get right. Like everybody's body is different, right? But you never know. I might need this full because he's playing. Mm-hmm. He might need that 5 months to rehab. It might take 5 months. He could have possibly took those first 2 months that a month off of rest after they lost to the Heat, right?
Yeah.
I said they lost to
the Knicks.
Right? The Knicks. My bad. The Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Could have took that time off after they lost to the Knicks. And then he might be rehabbing. He might think I'm good. Now I'm gonna go ready for the Olympics. Boom, that sets you all the way back. Then boom, now I got 2 more months for training camp. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I lost a little weight, but that doesn't solve anything. You might need that whole entire time to rehab. You never know. You might need another little touch-up, clean-up surgery or something. I don't know if that's the case as far as the surgery thing. All I'm saying is you got to get in the weight room. You got to do the PT. The physical therapy is not just, do it for a week and we'll see you. No, you got to do that constantly, consistently. Boom, boom, rehab. Get in the pool, swim, jog, get on the treadmill, do whatever it is you got to do. But that's not just, we can't just say, 2 months was enough time. We don't know that. Clearly it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like he should have spent that time rehabbing his knee. Because all he was doing, y'all seen how he was moving during the Olympics.
Yeah, that was a lot of things being said about just the way he looked. Obviously, the huge brace he had on his leg, and not necessarily just the way he looked, but the way he played as well. The way he was moving and laboring, and then also just his lack of production amongst or on the big world stage and amongst some of the greats. You would expect Joel Embiid. What?
I don't know how much time you got left, man.
What?
That's where I'm at with Ox.
Because that was actually going to be my next question.
That's where I'm at with Ox.
Well, as far as that go around, they should have been traded Joel. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about in the league, bro. It's like it's hard for somebody that big to just whip it back in shape, bro. We're seeing it. He scored a bunch of points yesterday, but
so Ox, you ain't buying him saying that I got 6 or 7 more years to win a championship when he said that last year? I ain't buying that. I'm not buying that at all.
No way I'm buying.
No, I'm not. I don't think he's going to hold up. I don't think he's going to hold up for 6 or 7 more years. No, I don't.
I wouldn't buy that for free.
Nope.
All right, y'all. I got a super chat from Drink More Water. Drink said, albeit almost a quarter of the way through the season, The team defensive ratings haven't been this low since the 1920 season. Any reason for that? Also, I'm going to predict that the offensive rating record won't be broke this year.
Well, a lot of the, I think a lot of the guys that I think Philly would be better if they had their best player. That would help. I think injuries have really hampered a lot of these teams, and because it hampered a lot of these teams, I think it's indicative to why these teams aren't as good as they would be. Philly's a prime example of that. Their best rim protector is out. Their best rebounder is out. Their best interior presence is out. So that affects their defense. That would explain why they aren't as good as they could be defensively, because that dude isn't on the floor. So if you think about other guys, Kevin Durant, for example, I mean, Miles and I had this conversation. Kevin Durant does more than score the basketball. He does play defense. So he would affect Phoenix's defense. So if he played more, I think that their defense would be better if Kevin Durant played more. And I'm not a huge Kevin Durant fan when it comes to defense, but I do think that they would be better if he played more defensively. So I think a lot of these guys being injured, I think that has a lot to do with why these guys, why I think it's a reflection of why these teams aren't better defensively.
Does it punch a hole in your narrative that the Sixers are currently 0-4 with Joel Embiid this year?
Yeah, that's not great.
That they haven't won with Joel Embiid.
Yeah, they're 0-4 in games he plays. Does that change your mind at all on who Joel Embiid is right now? Look, man, I was speaking to somebody. I was speaking to somebody who covers. I was curious. Look, I was curious about this.
Friday.
I was curious about this, so I reached out to my friend who covers Philly sports, and he was like, "There's one narrative being floated out right now, which is Joel Embiid is basically telling Philly to kiss his ass." Right, like basically the entire city. He's just like, "Boom, I got paid. What are y'all gonna do?" Maybe he's frustrated with some of the coverage about him. You go after your best player. If your best player is soft, and I'm not trying to call Joel Embiid soft, but all this stuff that Nick Nurse is saying, that our team DNA, we bend when all this stuff that's come out, we're not tough. We're getting out toughed. Last night he invented a word. We got out athleted. Okay, cool. You got Tyrese Maxey, you got Joel Embiid, and they don't have Ja Morant. You got out athleted. You got problems, right? So that's kind of, and you should be the way more desperate team. You were 2-11 going into last night, and I don't think your stars played well at all. I know Joe got 35. I don't think he played well. Tyrese Maxey got a horrible game. Horrible game. Their best player last night was probably Gershon Yabusele. So I'm at a point right now where I'm wondering what next. Okay, because it does not look like this team is going to be competitive with the Clevelands and the Bostons of the East. And the Knicks, who are looking very good offensively, at least.
And for the record, Milwaukee's 2 games out of the 4th spot, by the way.
Y'all better stop playing with us, boy.
Says a lot about the Eastern Conference.
In a couple nights said a lot about the Western Conference too.
Looked like they was gonna give it back to the Bulls last night.
They did.
But back to the NBA. It's the NBA. We just
but back to Penn's point. Well, Penn, again, like we just talked about, he hasn't played. So I don't, and not only has he not played, he's played sparingly. He'll play 20 minutes, he'll play 12 minutes, then he'll play 6 minutes. So it's not like, he's coming back into the lineup and he's getting right back in the lineup immediately.
26 minutes, 32 minutes, 31 minutes, 35 minutes. He's never played 12 minutes. Not once, not ever.
No, I'm when I say 12 minutes, I said 12 minutes, like 12 minutes at a time. 6 minutes here.
Who's playing more than 12 minutes at a time?
So,
Steph Curry's playing 4 minutes at a time. What are we doing
And you know what the problem is with that, Penn? Steph Curry is actually in better shape. Steph Curry has been on the floor. Joel Embiid has not. I'm asking Joel Embiid to do what these guys have been doing, and he's not prepared to do that yet. That would explain why when I have a guy who's that responsible for everything that we're doing, and then I'm throwing him back in the lineup, and he's physically not able to do it, physically not prepared to do it, that would explain why we are in the position that we're in.
Well, my grandfather used to tell me that if you spend a lot of time saying bad things about people, you should probably say something good about them too. So let me say something good about the Philadelphia 76ers. This year, they're 2-12. But there was a year where they were 0-18 to start. And there was a year where they were 0-17 to start in the last decade. So at least it's an improvement on that.
That's the good thing.
That's a great thing. I mean, it could be worse, is what I'm saying. You got 2 wins.
Less than what you did in the past.
I think Jared McCain is a good thing. I think Jared McCain is.
Jared McCain is a great thing, actually. He has been a revelation, and he's probably leading the league in Rookie of the Year voting right now.
But Penn, to your point, you just talked about Joel Embiid. I mean, you are what Nick Nurse said about getting out athlete. Your leader is a reflection of your crew is a reflection of your leader. If we soft, if my leader's soft, my crew probably gonna be soft.
Facts.
If my leader is undisciplined, that's gonna be my crew. So
well, like if you're a franchise player, your highest paid player, and a former league MVP at this point is coming in and he's late, he's kind of rolling his eyes at the coach. That's gonna your entire team is feeding off that shit, and nobody's coming to bat. I mean, every player. I mean, y'all play competitive basketball, and some of you play professional basketball. You know that when your star player is dialed out, it becomes very easy to dial out. When your star player checks out of the coach's message, the whole thing falls apart. And that's what makes Tim Duncan and his ability to be coachable in San Antonio. That was what set the marching orders for everyone in San Antonio. Because if your star player, and that was Greg Popovich's big thing, that was Phil Jackson's big thing, that's Spo's big thing, is if I can coach my star player hard, the role players have no choice but to fall into line. Because if he's taking it, if I'm able to grab him by his jersey and pull him into place, then I could do the same thing to you. It just sets the order. But if a star player is showing up late for the bus, showing up late for the plane, showing up out of shape, lazily walking through practices, he's not bringing it in practice. I mean, shit, give credit to Kevin Garnett. That dude brought it every day in practice, every single time. That Boston Celtics, y'all know the story about Doc Rivers calling Sam Mitchell. Y'all heard the story?
No, I didn't hear.
Okay, so KG shows up to Boston, right? And he's doing KG stuff. And KG was a notorious practice player. If there was social media when Kevin Garnett was running practices in Minnesota, he'd be canceled for sure. Because he knock you out. He'll start fights with you. He'll
not just him. There was a lot of guys back then. But
absolutely.
I'm not saying that to discredit Kevin Garnett, but I'm just saying
absolutely. So KG shows up to Boston and he's ruthless in the practices. And Doc Rivers calls up Sam Mitchell, because Sam Mitchell was KG's vet, and he's like, yo, I got to get this guy in check. And Sam Mitchell says to him, no.
Leave him alone.
Leave him alone. Because that dog that you see in those practices, if you let him do that, by the end of the season, your entire team will be that way. And that's exactly what happened. And they were the hardest working team and probably one of the best defensive teams I've ever seen. Then they won a championship in their first year together. And that's a credit to Kevin Garnett being the toughest practice player. Kobe was a tough practice player. These guys were coachable. So for the most part, they were very coachable and receptive, and they set the tone for that locker room. Joel Embiid got to dial in his inner Mamba mentality, because you can't be lazily slopping into practice. Because
I don't think he has. Not everyone just has.
Everybody don't got that. Some people are just soft, and you can't find what you don't have, Pin. No matter what inspirational speech you think you can give somebody, some people are just weenies, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you know what I mean? This is what it is. It's just simple as that, bro. If you don't got it in you, you don't got it in you. You can't toughen everybody up. You can't give somebody, oh, well, one time this happened. That shit ain't gonna work with Joel Embiid. He is who he is. He a grown ass man. If you got to figure it out in your 30s to toughen up, you just soft, bro.
It ain't there.
You can't get hard out of nowhere, bro.
Yo, John.
Inner Mamba mentality.
Focus, Mars.
John, I'm gonna ask you specifically.
Mars, relax, bro.
What should? Yeah, that was wild, huh?
Yeah,
but anyways, what should the Philadelphia 76ers do right now?
I don't think
it's obviously a lot of options.
I don't think it's what more should they do. It's what can they do. Like, they have Paul George wrapped up for for 4 more years, about $200 million. They got Tyrese Maxey, who they just extended. They paid Joel Embiid. I don't think there's much more you can do unless you want to, around the trade deadline, be like, I got this young rookie in Jared McCain. If you really want to go all in, but it's not much else they can do. I think
they could also go all out too.
Yeah,
we're gonna start over, Ron. So let's blow this whole thing up. I mean, we're a month into the season. I mean, let's be clear, Ron. The season, this is a 6-7 month regular season. Okay, we had a bad month. It's not like we're having a bad season. Can we turn this thing around? Maybe we can. But it starts with Joel Embiid.
You guys have been the ones telling me that. You guys have been the ones telling me that. Well, okay, it does start with Joel Embiid. It ends with Joel Embiid too. Hey, that's when I said the process ends. You guys already told me the process was dead. Tyrese Maxey and other people are telling us that Joel Embiid has been this way. These are his habits. He is who he is. All right, so if that's the case, if there is no progressing with the process and it's done and it's dead, strap a dynamite to it. And Joel Embiid's tenure in Philadelphia, get him the hell out of here. And
Isn't this just the process, though, Ron? Isn't this what the process is? Tanking for a pick? Maybe they just decided we can do the process still with Joel Embiid. We got Joel. That's
so
our
guy.
Now,
the process.
Now we tank. Yeah, now we tank and try to get into the capture the flag sweepstakes or whatever y'all calling it, right?
Cooper flag.
Now, hey, that's the process. That's what the process is. Being ass, winning 15 games, and getting the pick, and then messing that up and doing it again the next year. They've been doing this for 12 years now, right? Like, keep it up, Philly.
I got their next 10. I got their next 10 games here. If y'all want to see how they look after.
So today is what, Thursday? Today is Thursday. When do they play again?
They play Friday.
So tomorrow night, who do they have?
They got Brooklyn. You think that could be the game that they get on track? I think
Brooklyn
so.
spank them boys.
Ben ain't gonna play, so Brooklyn will probably lose.
Where are they playing at? In Philly?
In Philly.
Yes.
Yeah, Ben ain't gonna play. Ben ain't gonna play.
We still on that? Are we still doing that?
Ben ain't gonna play.
Have we talked about Paul George's injury?
Yes.
I brought it up.
I mean, that's big.
Rewind. Mars. Okay, that happened 3 years ago. We still on that? We still doing that?
Play? I mean, I'm letting you know he's not going to be on the court tomorrow.
So I'm never playing as long as I'm in Brooklyn. I'm not even in Brooklyn. So in the NBA, I'm never playing in Philly again ever.
He ain't playing that tomorrow. That's what I'm telling you.
And why? Why is he not playing? What's the problem?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I'm
just letting you know. I'm just letting you know.
Is it emotional damage?
Ben Simmons
I don't think Ben Simmons can handle that.
That's what I'm letting you know.
They better put his therapist on the bench. If his therapist is right on the bench with him, maybe they can do something.
It would hurt his feelings.
He'll gonna have a mental breakdown if you go back into that arena.
We got to get past that. We do. We have to get past that. But they should beat Brooklyn. But keep going. They should beat Brooklyn.
They got the Clippers coming to Philly that Sunday. And then they got the Rockets coming that Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, that's good. GG's.
And then they got to go to Detroit.
They should beat Detroit.
Based on what? They should beat Detroit based on what?
They got Joel Embiid. And what you
tell me about 82-0. Like what?
No, whoa. Hang on. With Jalen Duren, the way you tell me about Jalen Duren, and the fact that they got Joel Embiid, and they should be able to take advantage of Jalen Duren, because I don't think he's there yet as a defender. I don't. So they should be able to take advantage.
I don't think Joel Embiid is playing that Rockets game. He's got a dentist appointment.
He should play all 5 of these games that I just mentioned. None of them are back to backs. There's like a 2-3 day gap in.
So he should play all 5 of these games.
Yeah, but the next game against the Magic, he won't be playing because it's the very next day. So. They got the Magic at home.
Gynecologist appointment that day too.
And then they got the Magic again at home the 6th, that Friday.
He should play that game.
Yeah, he should play that game. So maybe he should win that. They should win that one. They
just lost to Orlando too. In Orlando.
Yeah, they did. It was
they did. They just lost to them in Orlando. This team looks bad.
Yeah, it's not like
they just look like a bad team, yo.
They're in close games. Like, nah, they're getting spanked sometimes.
They are a bad team.
They are a bad team.
When they got PG and everybody was excited, I tried to tell y'all, like, bro, I don't know what y'all expect from Paul George and Joel Embiid in 2025. Like, if you'd have got these guys,
wait. Leave Joel out of this.
I was not excited about this Paul George thing.
What do you mean leave Joel out of this, Ron? This whole episode for the whole first 45 minutes of this has been about Joel Embiid. Now you want to leave him out of this? You can't save him, Ron.
When we make it into the play-in and go on our little run and get to the finals, I'm gonna remember this episode. That's what I'm saying.
We gonna remember this episode.
Sure.
Paul George, just so you know, Mars, we need to remember this episode. Nick Nurse and Tyrese Maxey need to remember this episode. Y'all can't do nothing for them.
So if I'm not mistaken, Mars, this is the 3rd time in 3 years that Paul George has hyperextended this knee. He did it in the playoffs. We did it right before a month before the playoffs in 23, and then last year, I think he did it again, and then he did it. This might be 4 times. I'm sorry, because I know he did it in the preseason, and then he just did it yesterday. So this is where we are with him. How can we manage this? Because this isn't something that's going to get better. It's not. This is not something that's going to get better. And on top of that, this hyperextension isn't something that, he's out for a day or 2. No.
What do you mean it's
No.
not going to get better?
This is gonna.
His knee's
It's a
fragile.
reoccurring thing.
His knees
It's
fragile.
it's a
You saying
reoccurring
it's
thing.
chronic?
Yes, I do. I think it's something reoccurring, and I don't think that it's going to stop. So
If
how
call
can
a
we
spade
manage
a
this?
spade, chill. For the past 4 seasons, on the all bum team, Paul George has been on there. Joel Embiid has been on there. These dudes have been on the all bum team, and now you put these two bums together. They're bums. They're bums. They're gonna lose 20 games before they win 10. They're bums.
So did the Clippers cook, letting him go?
Get
Not
what?
signing
I wouldn't
Okay.
pay that man no max contract. What?
But you turn around and pay Kawhi Leonard $143 million.
Hey,
Yeah,
that was crazy too. That was crazy.
Kawhi's coming back, man. Kawhi's
I
coming back.
wouldn't have paid.
There's
Part of
no
it- part of it
timetable
is
on him,
keeping the
Mars.
flow.
None.
Okay, I never said he's coming back next week. I said he's coming
There's no
back.
timetable on him.
He's
So
gonna be back at some point. It might
when
be next
is that?
It might be 2028, but he'll be back. Like
Oh my
he'll
God.
be there.
Mhm.
Like,
He,
Yeah, one
he looks like he's
thing
aged
you
5
say
years, by
about
the way.
Kawhi is he works hard.
Yes, he
He
does.
works really hard.
Mhm.
He's not one of those guys who comes into the locker room and he's late for everything and he's not working hard in the practices and stuff. No, he works really hard. It's just unfortunate with Kawhi.
Man, that dude, that's one of my favorite players of all time. He making his way to that list too.
What?
The
All
bum
right.
list.
Dudes can't play. You can't hoop, man. Go home, bro. It's about
All right,
it's about-
y'all.
It's about time to call it one.
I'm about to step in. We about to start surfing through a lot of topics, y'all. So stay with me.
Yep.
It's a lot to talk about in the league. We obviously had a lot of games last night. We got games tonight. There are a couple franchises that I want to touch on because there were things that were said about these franchises. So we're going to do that. Chat, make sure you like the video. Hall of Famers lock in. My man KT, Hutton Gilgores, Multi-Kenny, Cobra Son of Raditz. Those are the Hall of Famers. Those are the top dogs in the chat and on Player's Choice, the panel specifically. Before we move on any further, John, I know you're only going to be here for a couple more minutes, so I got to talk to you about a winning streak right now and about a game tonight with your Los Angeles Lakers and Orlando Magic. First off, how are you feeling about this winning streak? Second off, are you guys going to beat the Magic tonight?
As far as the winning streak, I don't think we've beaten any above average teams, but I am happy that we are able to be who's in front of us and take care of business. I just because last year we would see like, okay, now we're in dogfights with the Warriors or the Wizards or the Pistons, but now we're able to take care of these teams in a Western Conference where seeding is very important and the talent gap between the West and the East is really substantial. I think that's pretty big. So that really impressed me. But other than that, I think the Lakers have played really well. I think Anthony Davis has been great. Once again, the perimeter defense is very concerning to me, the rebounding, the transition defense. But our offense has been really good. And I think Dalton Connect opens up a part of this offense that I really am excited to see. I think he should start. I think D'Angelo Russell should stay off the bench. Same with Gabe Vincent. I think these guys should be shipped out or stay on the bench. But I think Dalton Connect has been a pretty big upside for this team.
Okay. And how are you feeling about the game tonight? You guys are at the crib.
Against the Magic.
Yeah. Keep in mind, the Magic were on a 5-game winning streak. They did lose last night to the Clippers. But how do you feel about tonight?
I think are we at home? Are we at home or are we going to Orlando?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're at home. I think we're going to win that game. I just don't think the Magic offense is. But who knows? Somebody might get hot. That's why it's so like hard predicting regular season games. But I would put my money on the Lakers.
So 7-game winning streak.
Yes.
After tonight. And the Lakers are also 7-0 at home too. So
yeah,
things are looking like they will go ahead and take the
another
game
Dalton Connect masterclass. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
All right, no doubt.
Lose. I'm trying to be the 3 seed again, so I need you guys to lose.
All right, y'all.
Mars, you here for it? I'm sorry, Ron. Mars,
I'm here for it.
You here for it, Mars? You on that Houston Rockets? That team?
No,
that Houston Rockets team
I'm praying on everyone's downfall. When Denver play, I need them to lose. When the Wolves play, I need them to lose. Like, these are important games. I'm trying to maintain the seeding right now. So I'm praying on the Lakers, them, all those teams around us. I'm praying on their downfall. I need the Eastern Conference to keep winning. That's what I need. So.
Well, Mars, speaking of praying on your enemies' downfalls or teams that are close to you, one of the teams that's the closest in proximity, the Dallas Mavericks, just got some very, very bad news this morning. Luka Doncic
Bad news.
has sustained a wrist injury and will miss an extended amount of time.
He hurt his wrist shotgun in the beer.
Bro, every time you pause for as long as you pause, I automatically assume someone died. Every time.
Every
You
time,
get me
yo.
every time.
For real, yo.
I don't know what. You just be mid-sentence. You'd be like,
Death.
we've got some news. And I'm like, boom, someone died. No one pauses for this long. And then when you have to pause, when you should pause, you don't actually pause. You pause randomly for no reason. I don't know.
Pause, Ron.
Bad host, man.
I'm
But
gonna work on my pauses.
I don't see how this is
For
bad
real.
news. They're undefeated without Luka this year.
Are they going to stay undefeated without Luka Mars? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we don't know. They might go undefeated without Luka. We don't know. So maybe I
There you
should
go.
ask that question.
There you go.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know. They might run the table without Luka on the roster. Yeah, it's going.
I mean, we'll see.
But they might. I don't know. It's possible
Exactly,
that
they might.
could.
We don't know. That's my point. We don't know. I don't get how that's just bad news automatically. Like they undefeated.
So
without Luka.
your best offensive player is no longer there.
He ain't been their best offensive player this year.
Who's been their best offensive player?
Kyrie Irving.
He's been their best scorer. That's who Kyrie Irving has been. He's been their best
That's
scorer.
offense,
I won't
right?
argue that. Yes,
That's
that's
offense.
part of offense. 100%.
Yeah.
That's definitely part of offense. But
Been the best offensive player.
no, he's been their best scorer. But Luka, on the other hand, has been
both,
responsible
man.
for. Luka's been responsible for a lot more stuff than Kyrie Irving, and he does a lot. Now, don't get me wrong. Irv is the bucket. Irv is the bucket getter on that roster. I ain't gonna argue that. Irv is the bucket getter. But now with Luka out of the lineup, maybe we can see Irv a little bit more. Maybe we can see more production from Irv from a scoring standpoint, from a distributing standpoint. Maybe we can see that a little bit more from Irv to find out how good this team can actually be. Can they go undefeated without Luka? Let's find out, Mars.
They will. Well, we'll see. But yeah, then Kyrie's been their best offensive player this year. This is what it is. I mean,
What do you mean
Shots to
Irv is the bucket getter? Like Luka's not the bucket getter? Like Luka damn near led the league in scoring last year.
he the fat slob taking possessions away from Kyrie. That's
Oh,
what it is.
okay, got you.
Wow.
He's a Kyrie merchant. Got you.
No, he just out there just chucking. But Kyrie actually being their best offensive player and stuff. So shout out to Kyrie.
My way.
He been great this year. So they'll be fine. They play Denver tomorrow. So
If they played on different teams, their
PJ.
role isn't that different. They're both primary creators. They're both 25 plus point per game scorers. Like it's like I could see Kyrie averaging 30 in a different system. Easy.
Mhm. I agree.
I can't.
Oh, I mean, okay.
Because he never has. That's why. That's never
Okay.
happened.
He's been on
Okay,
really
so-
good teams. Played with LeBron
Yes.
James. and Luka Doncic
I
for
think
most of his
Steph
career.
could make 15 threes in a game. He's never done it, but I think he could.
Steph never made 15 threes in a game.
No,
I think it's
I
high
think
as
he could.
13.
For some reason, I
Yeah.
think I'm surprised that that's not happened.
but I think he could do
Is
it.
it the record? Is it the record?
The record's 14.
14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clay got it.
I think Steph is capable of making 15. He's never done it. But I think he's capable.
probably
He
gonna
made
try it,
18
though.
in that
He probably
All-Star
gonna-
game? 17? Whatever.
Oh,
Some
All-Star
cra- it was
game,
like
yeah.
22, wasn't
Yeah,
it? It was
he
something
made.
crazy.
I want to say he made like 18 threes. He made like 18.
Man,
He had like
wide
15.
open on those.
Nah, he pump faked from the logo, shot again from the logo, and then turned around. I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
what
that
happens
was
to this
just
Dallas
lucky.
team now? What happens to this Dallas team now that Luka's out of the lineup? Because now the ball gets to move more because we can't have one guy. We don't have anybody like Luka.
Defense
That's the
gets better.
distributor. Right. The
They
defense does
continue
get better.
winning, and then we'll be here in about a week saying, "Are the Mavericks better without Luka?"
No,
And
we
then-
won't be
Luka
saying that.
really an MVP?
No, we that will
I'm not
1000% be a
gonna say that.
topic. It will 1000% be a
I
topic.
Because I wanna get to the
we've
bottom
already
of-
had that conversation, chill. Because when Luka's
Yeah,
out and we
yeah.
see how the ball moves, the offense flows so much better. I've brought that up multiple times.
Hmm.
Still, yes, Mars, I will say it again.
Yeah, see, I'm just saying. I know how these things go. I know how
The
these
time
things
will
go.
come when we have this conversation again because the offense just looks so much more smooth without that grenade launcher.
See, told you we're gonna have this conversation. I'm
I mean,
prepared.
and
know-
the
I know how
inevitable
these things-
too. The
I know.
The
defense
defense?
kind of, you know.
Klay Thompson gonna get thrust back into that second option role. You know where he thrives.
I
Same.
just hope the apologies are as loud as the hatred is right now when he turns it around.
Well, it's not hatred and it won't be an apology either. It'll just be keeping it real. Whatever happens is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Calling a top 3, top 4 player in the league a
Well,
grenade
you
launcher.
call him a top 3 player. Now,
What do you call him?
I call him
Grenade-
maybe 6, 7, 8,
9, 10. Yeah.
maybe 11 sometimes. Who knows?
11?
17.
Well, he
Can
can't guard nobody pin, so I take that very seriously. I don't care about the what do you call it? Off, but what do you call it? Box plus minus. I don't care about that. I want to know. Can you guard?
Lucas
your
Walker's
shadow?
minus ain't that good this year, to be fair. So
Pin,
based
I'm
on
with
box
you.
lines, I don't think he's top 3.
I'm with you, and I didn't have my criticisms of Luka, but we all know the inevitable is coming. Hey, y'all seen Game of Thrones? Winter is coming.
And I've already
know
said that too, Ron. I've said that too.
Mars, have I
You're
not
getting
already
cold out
said
here,
that?
Ron?
Is that what you saying, Ron?
It's about to get chill. Get
It's
your
snowing
meat.
out here.
I've already said inevitably.
Get your firewood. Get everything you need.
He's gonna get going. I've said that multiple times. So let's not act like I'm just.
No,
out here
the
saying Luka,
agendas are crazy, man. I'm seeing
I'll
comparing
Swiper
Swiper doing that stupid stat head thing on X with Luka versus Darius Garland, showing why Darius Garland's playing better than Luka this year. Just, I mean, yo, these.
No, he
I'm
did that
bookmarking all of them. I'm
he did that just to illustrate how
I'll
good
make a
Garland's been.
documentary.
That's what he said. He did it just to illustrate how good Garland's been, not to diminish Luka. I mean, he knows what he was doing. He knows what he was doing.
He was trying to raise you.
I'm just saying that's what he said was
It's called plausible deniability. Okay.
I'm just letting you know what he said.
I'm just trying to highlight.
We all know what he did. We all know. We all are all aware that what he did was because he was trying to bring down Luka. But he said,
but why is he trying to bring down Luka? Why is he trying to?
Because Luka got put into Jokic convos. That's why.
But chill. Have I not multiple times said I wish Luka could play defense. If Luka could guard his own shadow, he'd be one of my favorite players. I've said that multiple times.
He played defense last year.
All right, Pin.
Am I lying?
He played defense in stretches. That's
yes,
what he did.
So he's capable of it.
Okay, so
and that makes it even worse, Pin. The fact that you're capable of playing defense and you refuse to.
Pin, I'm capable.
You have no recovery.
Okay,
no
I need to understand how bad his defense is, Ox. Is he a top?
Terrible.
Is he?
No, he's not a top anything. He's not a top anything.
Chill said he's the worst.
Is he one of the 10 worst defenders in the league?
Chill said he's the worst defensive point guard of all time.
As far as people that play, Pin, because I don't want to talk about guys from 12 to 15, right? Let's talk about guys that actually play on the court.
Yeah.
Yes, he's one of the worst defenders I've ever seen.
I asked 10. Is he one of the 10 worst?
Yes, Pin.
Okay,
yes.
Amazing. He's not.
Okay, that's fine. That's how you feel about it. I mean, that's cool.
Who's worse than him, Pin? Can you please?
Anthony Simons.
He's not.
Trae Young. Damian Lillard.
100%. He's worse than those guys. He's worse than Damian Lillard.
Wow.
100% he's worse than Damian Lillard.
Wow.
100% he's worse.
You cannot be 6'7"
The only reason why you saying Trae Young is because
and be worse than
only
Anthony Simons.
reason why you saying Trae Young is because Trae Young is small. Trae Young and that's
a big part of it. Yeah.
But here's the difference though. The difference with me being small and me giving the effort. Those two things are not the same.
I can try and still be the dumbest person in the room. I could try to be smart.
Here's the difference, though, Mark.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're not as dumb as this guy who failed on purpose. Like,
here's the difference, though. You're not dumb. That's the difference. And Trae is not incompetent on defense, so he is trying.
He's trying and still incompetent.
In addition to him,
Trey's a horrible defender too.
He's bad. 100%.
Nah, Trey's taking a step forward.
100% he's bad.
A step forward from the depths of hell doesn't get you very far.
100%.
And Luka's taking a step back into the depths of hell. The boy's sitting on the back of the bus with
Satan. In the same spot. At worst, they're in
That's
the same
fine.
spot.
I'm fine with that, Mars. They could be equal. I think they're both terrible.
We talk about Luka against participation awards, but now we're like, oh, this guy's not as bad because he tries. Like he's still getting good.
Well, Mars, we asked who's, but the question was who's worse. Is Trae worse than Luka?
Yeah,
is
way worse.
No,
despite the fact that he tries
the fact that I'm trying, you know what that means, Mars? The fact that I'm trying, there's an upside, which means I can improve. You ain't even trying. You're not even trying to do it. You're just terrible.
You can try and
don't give me effort.
Well, look, Mars, I can guarantee you, when you're on the court with somebody that's trying to play defense, better things happen than when you're on the court with somebody that doesn't.
I can agree with that.
I don't care how bad both these guys are.
That doesn't make you better.
It
doesn't make you
100%. You know what?
No, he's worse.
This one of those things that just can't be explained. So I'm off.
It 100% can be explained. You're on the right road. You're on the right road. I would much rather play with a guy who is giving me effort. Something good is going to happen, whether he gets in the passing lane, whether he's off ball and he tries to steal a basketball. Something's going to happen, as opposed to this guy who, 1, is lost on defense, 2, doesn't give me any effort, 3, doesn't know where his man is. Consistently, that happens. This guy, that doesn't consistently happen. More consistent, he is better off the ball. More consistent, he is trying to be an on-ball defender. Trying, as opposed to this guy who is Olay, knock himself out. And what your guys will tell me is he's funneling the defense into the
No,
big
that's what
man.
they did
That's
in the
what
postseason.
that's what you guys will
But,
tell me. He's
like,
funneling the defense into
You
the big
can
man.
you can
Meanwhile, he's
try
a
you can
cone.
try and still be a clear negative and be more negative than someone else.
That's true.
Like, yeah, Trae Young, and I think the idea that Trae Young is trying harder doesn't mean he's trying hard. Trae Young is giving more effort than he did a few years ago. His effort is still extremely inconsistent. Extremely inconsistent.
Is it
Just
more
because
is it more inconsistent?
It's more consistent, Luka. More consistent than Luka, sure.
Yes.
For the sake of argument, sure. He is
Yes.
still drastically worse than Luka. And his passing lane stuff, Luka still gets more deflections and passing lane steals than Trae Young does anyway. So even if he's not trying, he's still getting more passing lane steals. He's still getting more deflections. He's still in the lanes more actively, even without trying. So even that one thing that Trae Young's effort can make him do that, Luka's still doing that better than him without trying. Luka's bigger. Luka's a better post defender than Trae Young can ever be. Luka doesn't get mismatch hunted to the degree that Trae Young does. Trae Young is just bad. Trae Young
He doesn't, Mars,
to the degree that Trae Young does. He gets mismatch hunted.
I think that's about
To the
it.
degree-
That's why.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Being
Everybody's
small
going
is gonna
to
be-
Luka, bro.
And
because he's small. But keep going, Mars.
every
Keep going.
team picks on Trae
Mhm.
Young. I think
Sure.
when teams look at the Dallas Mavericks, Luka is probably their go-to option to mismatch hunt, but there's also other people who might be a better option, especially when it comes down to being in the post. Trae Young is a mismatch in the post, on the perimeter, on the ball, off the ball. Everywhere, Trae Young gets mismatch hunted. That's not the case for Luka. Trae Young can try harder than Luka. It's not as big of a gap as you seem to be saying in terms of the effort.
Everything.
But
that you
I don't
said,
think
Mars.
there's a
Still
gap.
he's still drastically worse just in terms of the impact he can have defensively. Luka, just by virtue of his size alone, his physical profile alone, gives him more value on defense.
That's all it is.
Without
That's all,
trying.
Mars.
Yes,
That's it.
yes,
That's all it is.
Yes,
You're not.
that's
You're
all
the
it
only logic.
Not
The
all
only.
it is.
That's
First
it.
of all,
That is
not-
all it is.
That
No,
could
it's
be
not
all
all
it
it
is.
is.
That
That's
is
what
what
you need.
Look,
that
that's what it is.
1,000% could
I-
be
no.
all it is.
You're saying-
The reason Wemby is damn near the best rim protector in the sport is because he's 7'5" with an 8-foot wingspan. 80% of the reason Wemby is as good as he is defensively is because of his physical profile. Physical profile is a huge part of the reason why guys can be
100%.
impactful on defense.
Yes,
Luka
sir.
might not be the best effort defender. He might be one of the worst. That's fine. His physical profile alone gives him better defensive impact than Trae Young.
They
Even
are
though-
both terrible defenders. Both of them.
I am not arguing
Okay,
against
we're
that.
not
I'm
arguing.
arguing
I
that
know
Trae
you're
Young
not.
is
I
better.
know you're not.
We're
I
not
know you're not.
arguing
What I'm saying is, regardless of what y'all guys are arguing about, effort or no effort, both of these guys are at the bottom of the barrel. None of them bring anything on the defensive end.
That's not
Nothing, Pin. Nothing.
not
That's
true.
not
Both
true.
of them are
That's not true.
ass.
That's not
Terrible
true.
defenders.
Marshall-
Regardless of how big Luka is and how much effort Trae Young tries to play with, they
Look,
both
look.
get picked on. They both get mismatch hunted.
Would
They
you score on
suck
Luka?
on the-
Would you?
Yes.
Would you score?
Yes.
You
Hell
would?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I can score on Luka. too.
Yes.
No,
And
you
you
wouldn't.
know what?
Wow, light Luka ass up,
Pin,
boy.
you-
I
light
am
him up.
confident. I am confident,
Hey,
Mars, that
hey,
I can
Pin,
score
hey,
on Luka.
Pin,
Yeah,
Hey,
well,
Pin, you got your
okay.
Christmas tree yet?
Bust y'all ass. Now, on the
Nope.
other end, I
As a
wouldn't
matter
even
of
try.
fact, I'm gonna get a
Come
big
on,
ass
Pin.
body of Luka and put lights around that. That's gonna be my Christmas tree this year.
I'm gonna
Light
tell you
him
what.
up.
Yo, Pin,
I'm
hey,
gonna tell
Pin,
you what.
you, Luka, and Trae could triple team me, and I'm giving y'all buckets.
Damn.
Work.
Mars, I want to get back. I want to get back to what you just got finished talking about, Mars,
Jeez.
because your stance is that solely just because he's just because he's bigger. I want to stay there just because
I'm
he's
saying
bigger.
that's 80% of it. But yeah.
I think it. To be honest with you, Mars, I think it's 100%. I
I've-
think the fact that Trae Young, because he's smaller, that's a deficiency. However, because he gives the effort, that effort resonates throughout the rest of the crew. One of the main reasons why Dallas is who they
Atlanta are the
are,
worst defense in the league every year.
even if they no Mars. Okay,
They
wait,
are.
Not this year. Not this year.
Right now,
This
I believe
season.
they're like 25th. I believe. Let me
this
check.
season.
We're gonna get.
Don't
to
hate
that.
on us.
Right now,
Let's
Atlanta.
Don't hate on us.
Right now, Atlanta are 20th in defense. Right now.
Okay, so they're in the
Let's
bottom.
take-
So they're in the
let's
bottom.
take
So they're
some
not the
guesses.
worst
No,
defense in the league.
no,
They're
no.
not the worst
Let's
defense
see
in
where
the league,
Dallas is. Let's see where Dallas is.
right?
And Dallas are
Okay.
7th.
I
They got a
understand.
much better defense.
I understand defensive.
And that has
Well,
nothing to
So
do
where's
with
Trae
That's,
Young's effort
that's in
resonating?
large part due to the
That has
Twin
nothing to
Towers.
do with Luka.
So where's the Trae Young effort that's meant to be resonating with the roster that's
I'm-
making them a good defense? Where's that?
Dyson Daniels is just
Well-
now, getting his thumbs on the team.
Last
Like,
year Atlanta 27th. The year
They
before that 22nd.
Mhm.
The year before that 26th. The year before that 2021 now 21st. 2020 27th. Trae Young's rookie year 27th. They've never been out the bottom 10 in defense. So this Trae Young effort, where's it translating to the team being better on defense? I don't see it. They've had solid defenders on their roster. Where's been the good defense with Trae Young? Every year they're worse on the floor with Trae Young on defense every year.
And to counter that, Mars, The reason why Dallas is in the top 10 in the league in defense, it ain't because of Luka. I can tell you that right now.
I
It has
agree.
nothing to
I ain't
do
the one
with
who
it.
said it's the stars
Nothing.
effort that resonates with the
100%.
I don't say that
And
Luka's the reason
first-
that they're good. You're the one who tried to say Trae Young is the reason that his effort is resonating with the crew, making them better.
It
Where's
is.
the
They just get,
evidence?
okay. So first and foremost, they got a bad overall defensive team. They got a bad overall defensive team. Dyson Daniels, probably one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. I'd like to think that as
Even
good as
he
he is
can't
as a
say Trae
defender,
Young.
I'd like to think that has something to do. I'd like to think that Trae given effort, Dyson Daniels has something to do with that. I'd like to think that.
So Dyson is giving Trae effort, not the other way around.
Okay.
I think it's both ways. I don't think it's just one way. I
This-
think it's both ways.
This
100%
conversation
I
is
believe
so
that.
wrong. It's so wrong on so many
Why?
levels. Okay, so I don't know. I know defensive analytics have a long way to go. So y'all just
Sure.
going to be like, no, it's got to be the eye test. I saw Luka miss an assignment, so Luka's the worst defender ever. I don't know if Ron, you want to pull this up, but I'll literally I'll tell you what the analytics say about him. Right, in terms of positional versatility, he is 79th percentile. That's Luka, right? And I'll give you Trae Young's right after this. Okay. In terms of crafted defensive plus minus, it may not be the most evolved model, but
What's
it
this?
gives you Luka Doncic's defense and offense. In terms of offense, he's a 100th percentile offensive player. Defensively, 79th percentile in terms of versatility. Well, how is versatility calculated, Penn? It's about the versatility of different positions you play on defense. That's the number of positions he can guard. Deflections, that matters, right? Disrupting offense. Defensive rebounding matters. Rim defense, how often do you get there and how effective are you when you get there? Your block percentage, these things matter. Now let me show you Trae Young's and I'll show you exactly how absolutely ridiculous this conversation is. So Luka's a 65th percentile defender according to this model, okay? And that is for his position. You want to know where Trae Young is? 0 percentile. That means he's one of the 5 worst defenders in the league. What are we doing here? Help me understand.
He tries. But
He
my
tries
best
though,
friend-
right? He
100%,
looks like he's trying. His hair's
It's
blowing in the
largely due
wind.
to
What are we doing
large-
here?
It's largely because he's smaller than Luka. That's it. It has nothing to do
But
with anything
I don't
else.
understand how that's a bad. I don't understand how we can understand that someone who's unathletic has a lower defensive ceiling than someone who's more athletic. Just because defense, you have to be able to be mobile, you have to move around. So if we understand that defense, athleticism, size, length, pause,
Sure.
are all things that play into your ability to be a high level impactful defender alongside your IQ. Trae Young lacks in 3 of those departments a lot. The IQ part of it, we can have the discussion about does Trae Young know where to be all the time. I would argue that more often than not, he's actually still lost on defense, despite the fact that he's given more effort than he used to. But my issue with everything that was just being said about the Trae Young effort thing was that it's not being replicated anywhere. But the versatility thing that Penn brought up, is that not just because like Luka tends to just guard the worst offensive player on the other team anyway?
100% it does.
Sometimes it's a power forward, sometimes it's a shooting
Yes.
guard. He's just on the worst offensive
That's
player.
by design.
Like when he plays
Houston,
Houston, he's gonna
You
guard
know,
Dylan Brooks.
you know who's a versatility
And then when he's playing
merchant?
against the different
Your
teams,
man
he's gonna guard
James
a power
Harden
forward.
is a
70
versatility
70
merchant.
79
Okay,
for
but that's a
versatility is
value.
great.
Hold on, and you say that Luka's just big. Hold on, Luka's not just big. Luka is long, and Luka is strong. Okay, Luka is strong as an ox. So if you post him up, that's not a mismatch for you, Mr. Power Forward. And yeah, if you get him on a perimeter on a switch on a really twitchy guard, yeah, good luck. Yeah, he's not stopping De'Aaron Fox. He's not stopping Ja Morant. He's not stopping Bogey at this point.
Right.
I get it. In space, it's a problem.
What's the problem with Luka? See, Penn,
But he got a
here's my
7-foot
issue.
wingspan, yo.
Right. And what's the issue
that's
with
what Luka's
Luka?
saying.
The issue with Luka is his ability to consistently play defense. How lazy he is on defense. Those numbers that you gave me, those numbers are Luka in stretches. Those aren't Luka being as consistent.
People used to
as
say
he could
Shaq
possibly
was
be.
lazy on defense. He was still a great defender.
Shaq was
It
not.
doesn't matter. Okay, Shaq was super lazy on defense. Let's be real. He's your cousin. I'm gonna give it to you straight. Shaq was super lazy on defense. Okay, he blocked some shots, but he wouldn't close out to anybody. He's not doing that stuff. He was late on rotations all the
He was
time.
bad in pick and roll mostly. That's what
Yes.
he was bad in
So
mostly. He was bad in
if I want to hone in and be like, oh, I saw Shaq blow this assignment, I didn't see Shaq close out properly. So now Shaq's suddenly bad? No, Shaq's great. That's the physical profile of it, though, right? There's a lot of things that go into defense.
He was
First
way
of all,
more
hand-eye
physical,
coordination goes into defense, and Luka's got
Sure.
elite hand-eye coordination. That's why his deflections are so great. It's also a matter of physics. At some point, it is a matter of physics. And I know some people probably don't want to hear about physics, but there's a certain physics when you're 235 pounds and you're strong as hell and you cannot be moved off your spot and you got 6'11" or 7-foot wingspan and you're 6'7" and you're just a big dude. That matters because that's going to matter on a closeout. Now, okay, you don't close out. Cool. You close out late. Cool. You're a little late rotating.
what year
Cool.
was-
But if
when-
you're 6
when
feet
did
tall
Shaq
and
become a bad
you don't got a
defender?
long wingspan and you're super weak, it doesn't matter if you close out. You waving at people.
When
Good
did
luck.
Shaq become a bad defender, man?
Who said that?
Mm,
Oh, Penn said it. Oh.
2002, 2003.
So
Bad?
2002 when he was in
Shaq
all
was
league.
a bad defender.
No,
Maybe
not a bad
2007,
defender. Lazy,
2006.
great defender. He was always a
Oh
great
no,
defender.
yeah, Shaq was
Lazy.
lazy.
Shaq was a
I
great
said
defender.
bad. I
Just
thought you said
lazy.
bad. Oh, okay.
Oh,
No, he wasn't
He didn't
bad.
block every shot at the rim.
I misheard
Cool.
what you said.
He
My
didn't
bad.
grab every rebound. Okay, I'm with you.
My bad. I thought you said he was a bad defender. My fault.
No. He's not bad. Shaq was a great defender. What I'm trying to say is that it's possible to try really hard and suck.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And
Yeah,
you're right.
100%. I agree with you. I just think they're both.
And
I just think they're both.
I could try out.
defenders.
I could try out for a football team tomorrow. I'll try hard as hell. I'll still be the worst player on the team. I guarantee it. Any team, Pee Wee, grade 6, I'll be the worst player ever. Okay, I could try hard. It doesn't matter, right? So it's just a matter of physics at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like Ox, you could not try on defense in a game that we play, and I could try as hard as I want on defense. You're gonna be a better defender. 100% of the time, because you're 6'9". By virtue of being 6'9", you take up space. You take up space. You clog up space. That's vertical space. That's horizontal space. You just take up a larger portion of the court. That's the thing with Luka. He can guard a zone better than Trae. He can be more. And to your point, Mars, it's not just that. Luka can guard some fours in the block. And he can be hidden on some threes, and he can occasionally guard some slower footed, maybe less dynamic twos.
Like Luka's as
So
bad as the defender as you think he is. Yes, he is.
He's not as bad as people
Well,
think
when
he is.
you
The
said
highlights
he's the
are
worst defensive point
egregious.
guard of all time, he's actually not as bad as you think he is. If you think he's the worst ever, he's not as bad as you think he is.
I think he is.
Well, yeah, that's
And
because
nothing-
you're harping on. Oh, he doesn't try.
But this
So
is the
he-
same
you're-
That's
argument.
part of
you're-
it, Mars.
Yeah, but
That's
no, 'cause
part
you're-
of it.
this is-
As
but
a
you've been very
defender, when you're a
consistent.
leader
Your
of a
issue
crew,
with Luka has
I'm-
always been that he can be so much better and he's not. So I view him as worse than someone who's as good as they can be. That's how you've always viewed Luka, and I've always disagreed with it because I've never viewed it as this guy can be better and doesn't reach his potential. Therefore, he's worse than someone who's at their potential, even though their potential is clearly worse. Because that's the same argument I've heard against your cousin about why he's not as great as I think he is. People say Shaq should have been the GOAT. Therefore, he's not in my top 10 because he didn't reach his potential. I've always disagreed with that because even though he could have been better and probably should have been better, he's still better than damn near everyone who's ever played. I don't care what your potential is. I care about what you actually do. Luka, what he actually does on defense is vastly worse than what he's capable of doing. We've seen Luka in stretches be a legitimate positive on the floor defensively. We've seen that. We've never seen Trae Young for any legitimate amount of time be a consistent positive. We've never seen it. But what we see with Luka is so much underperforming of what he's capable of that you seem to view that as he's worse than this guy, when in reality he's worse than he should be. We all agree Luka should be better on defense than he is. Everyone agrees.
Mars.
Luka agrees, the Mavericks agree, Ron agrees, Swiper agrees, I agree, Penn agrees, Ox agrees, you agree. But that doesn't mean he's worse than someone who is just magic, who's just automatically worse by virtue. No matter how hard
Problem with the
he tries.
defensive. Go ahead, Trae.
I could try as hard as I want on a basketball court, and you couldn't try. If we played one-on-one right now, you would destroy me without trying. We agree
Here's the
with that, right,
difference,
Chill?
though.
You would destroy me, no matter how hard I tried, because you were just better than me.
No, the problem
You are
with
better
the
than-
defensive conversation is that it is not nuanced, it is not balanced, and it is not all-encompassing. Okay, if we were to have an offensive conversation, and in my mind, everything about offense is handle. I don't give a shit about your shooting. I don't give a shit about your court mapping, your playmaking, your gravity as an off-ball shooter, your movement shooting. I don't care about none of that. I just care how saucy your handle is. Now, I can make a case that Klay Thompson's a terrible player. Oh, Jokic don't got the Iverson handle. He's terrible. He's ass. Domantas Sabonis, Alperen Şengün, bums, right? But no, we're not stupid. Well, the offensive conversation is way more evolved, so we understand that there's more to offensive being successful offensively than simply handles. But with defense, I don't feel like we get the full conversation. We seem to think it's all about pressure on the ball and not egregious lowlights. So if I could show you Luka getting backdoor cut and he doesn't respond to it and he's a little lazy, or Luka not getting back in transition, or Luka getting cooked on a switch by a quick guard, you'd be like, that guy's garbage. But you don't see him boxing out because that's part of defense. You don't see him grabbing the defensive rebound. That's part of defense. You don't see him communicating. You don't see him But you don't see the
And
look. The thing with Luka,
Mars's theory is the same thing that you were talking about. Mars's theory is the same thing, that theoretically I'm just better than you, one, because I'm bigger than you. So that gives me the
that's
advantage.
oversimplification,
But
show.
that's
It's not just he's better.
oversimplifying it. It really is that.
Let me argue against that by telling you what I think Luka is good at. And ironically, it's a lot of the same stuff that Jokic is good at. So I think that what I'm saying for one applies to the other as well. Number one, he is active with his hands, which is very important in terms of disrupting passing lanes, especially because you have a significant length advantage for your position. Jokic has, I think, a 7'4", 7'3". I don't know how 7'3" wingspan. He's got long arms, okay? And Luka's got long arms too. So the fact that they are active with their hands and able to poke it, swipe it, bounce it out, tip passes, this is important. The rebounding aspect. They're both bulls on the defensive glass. They box out their man, even if they're not grabbing the rebound. They're able to, that's one thing. That's two things that they do well. Number three is they are generally able to hold their position on the block better than most players at their position.
Sure.
So if you're going to post up Jokic, you're going to go absolutely nowhere. Okay. So that's three things. The fourth thing is their court mapping. Their ability to know what is happening on the court and communicate that effectively. Now, whether they do it or not, that's motor, that's intensity, that's effort, that's lapses, whatever. But their ability to understand the game defensively and understanding that's the set that team is running. What makes Draymond great defensively is not physics. It's his mind. It's his motor. It's his, some of it is physics.
So he's got some physical deficiencies, and
he's 6'5". He's a 6'5" center, just like Ben Wallace, 6'5", 6'7" center. Ben Wallace was, but he was able to just instinctually. Legit. Pardon?
6'9", legit.
I've heard different.
I've seen Ben Wallace in person. He's 6'9",
legit. Okay, I'm gonna debunk that. I'm gonna debunk that myth for myself. So that's a lot of stuff that Luka and Jokic both do well. So if you only hone in on what they don't do well, which is they can't pressure quick guards and they don't deal well with, mismatches. They don't switch well on the pick and roll. Right. Sometimes they get caught sleeping. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't get back in transition because they're too busy complaining for a foul. Right. If that's your version of defense,
I think
looking at 20%.
I think there's too much comparison between your two players. I think Jokic and Luka are a horrible comparison, and Trae Young and Luka are a horrible comparison.
How are Luka and Darius Garland? That's a good comparison. Let's talk.
I want to get back to what you just got finished saying, Penn, and I want you to go, Swiper. But I want you to everything that you just said about a defender. That's my primary job as a defender at the lead guard spot. My job is to stay in front of the primary ball handler. My job is to navigate and get around screens. My job is to have a hand in my guy's face. My job is, as the point guard, to not navigate. I'm sorry. My job is to quarterback the defense as the point of attack defender, because that's who I am. I'm the lead guard. That's my job. And the fact that I'm lazy on defense, the fact that I do get beat, and it's highlighted that I get beat. The stuff that you're talking about when I'm playing when I'm getting switched on the box. Well, when I'm getting switched on the box at 6'7", that's not something that's my primary job. You know what is my primary job? My matchup with the guy that I'm supposed to be covering on the perimeter. That's my job. And if I'm not doing that, I don't care about you switching on to a 6'8" power forward. I don't care about that nearly as much as I care about you doing your job. And as the lead guard, your job is to be a point of attack defender. That is your job. Your job is to give effort at that point, at that spot. And he doesn't do that. That's my biggest issue with Luka as a defender. And to Mars's point, when he talks about the fact that I think he's the worst defender, Mars, the reason why I feel like that about him is because what I've seen from other people, as opposed to the effort that they give and he gives, it's vastly different. Mars, your stance on him being better solely because he's bigger, that works. 100% that works. But in a lot of situations, just because you're bigger does not make you better.
I'll tell you.
Hold up.
There's one.
Hold up, Penn, because I want to hear from Swiper. I want Swiper to.
Yeah, this is a yap. This is a yap off. Like this is last 20 minutes has been a yap off. This obvious.
And it's about to continue as a yap.
No,
you're about to start yapping.
I'm not about to say nothing. We need to move.
He's
on
running
from
for public office right now.
This is the life I live, Penn. Yes, 1000%.
President of the Yap Club.
No, okay, we trolling. Never mind. I'm good. We trolling. I'm good.
As you were saying. As you were saying, Swiper.
Come on.
The conversation's dumb. Trae Young and Luka they're not even in the same realm defensively. I think that comparison is horrible. He's obviously not the worst point guard defender ever. Like, chill, you grew up in the 80s and 90s. There are multiple players that were worse defenders. There's multiple players that are worse defender than Luka in 2010. In the 2020s, I just think this whole concept of Luka, it's either gets boiled down to he's the absolute worst, there's nothing he does well, which isn't true. But then also that he's a good defender to an elite defender, which has also never been true. We had a whole conversation about this 6 weeks ago with Jordan, about the finals defense, about the playoff defense, and the blow-bys and the scheme. Luka gets consistent help to be protected. That's what aids him. That's what allows him to be great. But on the other end of this, like, he's just also like a very lazy defender. That's the biggest criticism of Luka, is how lazy he is and how bad he is at recovery. That's what it comes down to. But this, I don't even know how we got here, just simply because Luka had a wrist injury, and somehow this moved to like defense and Kyrie and trolling and 1-0 and stuff without him. Like, they're obviously not a better team without him. They're obviously not a better defense without him for multiple reasons. But, we can just keep moving.
That wasn't a yap off.
100%.
No, I talked for 2 minutes.
They're not a better defense.
I talked for 2 minutes. So no, there's no yap off.
Probably would be a better defense, but I feel you want not a better team.
Look, I'll say one more thing about defense. Offense is a great defense. Being a great offensive player. Mars, don't roll your eyes. You know it's true. If anybody up here who knows it's true.
I know what you're about to say, but I'm never going to give someone defensive
if you
credit
lead
for
to
being great
5% more efficient offense, that's 5% less transition offense that you have to guard. Transition offense is obviously way
basketball.
Like, I know what he's saying, but I'm never gonna be like,
if you and me play basketball and you put the basketball in the hole every single time because you're so great
more than I can stop you from hitting me.
Hold
on. We got one mic, yo. We got one mic. Let him keep explaining this point though, because we didn't get a chance. We didn't get a chance to hear because Mars and Chill started talking over.
No, we've heard it before, John. We've heard it before.
Let's hear it again.
Offense is defense.
It's very true. If you lead to positive possessions offensively, which is to say predictably good shots, so not a lot of late quarter scrambles, not a lot of dry heaves, a lot of predictability, you stabilize the offense, then we have better court balance defensively because we understand where the shots are coming from. And if the shot is always going through the hole, if you're gonna score on 60% of your possessions when Jokic is on the floor or when Luka's on the floor, because they lead to more predictable good offense, ideally that's why they're everyone running everything through them, then you don't have to run back in transition because you don't have to worry about.
Yes, you do. I know that sounds like it makes sense, Pin. I know theoretically you think that makes sense, Pin, but that's not. You still have to get back in transition because wait. Because do you know how much we are taught in practice, how much we practiced? As soon as that ball goes to the rim, we get it out quick. Boom. If I'm outletting, you have to get back. You still have to stop the ball. Somebody still has to get back. The weak side guard still has to get back and make sure that nobody gets behind him. As soon as that ball goes through the net, we can get that thing out and go just like it's a rebound. The same thing, Pin. So regardless if you make the basket or miss the basket, we can still get in transition. You know how you can practice getting in transition in a made basket. Transition doesn't only come when you miss the shot. If we got a team, I got a man, we know if you're closest to the ball, you're closest to the ball. One of you two get that ball out and get it going. So if I know, so there's a play we used to run called sideline, right? Where we know that the first person come is at like free throw line extended. We're moving that ball out the net. Boom, boom, boom. The ball never touches the ground, up the court fast. So you have to get back on defense.
Did I say you don't have to run back? Did I say you don't have to run back?
What'd you say, Pin? Go ahead, Pin. Go ahead.
I said it makes your offense more. It makes it more predictable when you know where your offense is coming from. Look, there's 3 types of ways that the
back on defense. Look, you said it stops transition. You said it stops transition. Did you not say that? Okay, well, that's not true.
But that is true because the offense.
No, it's not. I just told you why it's not.
God damn it, man.
I just told you why it's not, Pin. No, God damn it, it's not true. You still have to get back in because you can still run a fast break.
There are varying degrees of bad. Okay, the worst thing you can do is a live ball turnover at the hash mark when you don't have numbers because you're getting cooked because that's a 2-on-1 break the other way and an open dunk. Right?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
The second worst thing you could do is a live ball turnover in the half court setting closer to the floor. The third worst thing you could do is long rebound. right? Like a long defensive rebound, and you don't have position. Someone fell out of bounds trying to bait a foul. Now you're giving them basically a power play. The fourth worst thing you can do is a short rebound. The fifth worst thing you can do is have a dead ball turnover. I'm talking about your defensive setting here. I'm talking about if I'm a defensive coach, what do I want to guard? Do I want to guard my ball handler getting picked in the backcourt as we don't have numbers to get back? No, I do not want to do that.
That's not what you said. If you would have said that from the jump, that
that is transition. I'm talking about the offense.
If you would have said,
okay, well, I said it now. I said it now.
If you would have said the turnover in half court is worse than missing the shot or making the shot, then yeah, we can't even have an argument about that. But you said that if I make the basket, then we don't got to get back in transition, and that's just factually incorrect.
Well, what I hope. Okay, I'm sorry that what I said was interpreted that way. Let me
interpret it that way. That's what you said.
That's okay. If I said that, that's not what I meant. So the way you're hearing is not what is not.
No. Okay, so say okay. Don't say that I heard you wrong. Say that you meant to say something else besides what you said. It was
misinterpreted. It's possible.
No, that's not what it was.
No. Pin. Say that you said
verbatim. If we make the shot, we don't have to worry about getting back in transition. That's what you said verbatim.
Well, what I consider transition, I consider transition offense is off a miss or a turnover. That's literally how I define transition.
Yeah, that's
not how you define transition.
That's not all that transition is. That's not all transition offense is. I can turn a made basket into transition offense. If we get the ball out quick and move the ball without dribbling and move it up the court, then that's a transition. It could be a secondary, whatever you want to call it.
I don't believe.
So wait, not transition.
That's just
Okay. So transition. I mean fast break offense. I can turn every one of your made baskets into a fast break early offense. I can do that. You have to get back on defense whether you make it or not. So therefore,
nobody said you don't have to make it back on defense. I said you don't have to guard transition, which means you don't have to guard a live ball.
Because you're trying to move the goalpost. I'm not going to allow you to do it because your initial conversation was about you saying if I can score, I'm playing good defense. So let's not act like you were talking about steals. You were talking about scoring.
It's easier to guard off a make.
It's easier to just guard the basketball. It's easier to stop the ball. It has nothing to do with what you do on offense, Pin. You have to stop the ball whether you make it or miss it.
That's
okay. You score
great offensive players lead to higher production on offense and less turnovers.
No matter what you're trying to say, there is no way that you can make us believe or anybody believe that me scoring the basketball means it's good defense. Scoring the basketball has nothing to do with defense.
I will guarantee you 95% of coaches agree with that philosophy, and the 5% that don't are unemployed.
Pin, cool. I don't necessarily believe in that philosophy.
He can't. He always saying shit like that. I guarantee this.
They're not coaches.
You can't possibly know that. What are you talking about?
Pin, although I don't fully agree with what you're saying, I agree with a variance of it. Where if you are great on offense, your defensive flaws will get overlooked.
It makes it okay.
Hold on. That's the reality.
As a defender, okay.
Well, I'm saying like your offense makes up for your defense in a way. In a sense.
Okay, if you would have said that, that's cool.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
Penn is saying you provide defensive value by being
this
great.
Cook culture is really weird.
He's
like really confident about something, and they say something with their chest, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's getting cooked." No, I'm not. I'm not getting cooked on this at all.
I really hate that Cook stuff too. I hate that too. But what I also hate is that you're trying to tell me that you said something you didn't say, Pin. So if you miss something else, that's fine. But you have to stop the ball.
I don't define transition as early offense. If you're the 7 seconds or less Suns,
what is transition, Pin? Stop right there, Pin. What is transition?
For me,
transition is off a live ball turnover or a miss. If you throw the ball out of bounds, that to me is not transition.
But who disagrees with you on that though?
Ox is making the point of if
transition can be off a make,
get it up the court quick,
off a miss, off a turnover. Transition can come anywhere as long as you play fast. For Ox, that's transition. I don't agree with that. So what I'm trying to say is, hold on.
I said the wrong thing. See, Pin, this is how that works. If I misspoke, I said the wrong thing. You didn't misinterpret, Pin. I said the wrong thing. Not transition offense, but fast break offense, early offense. That's what I meant to say. I'm sorry for saying those are not words.
Those are not equivalent.
In the NBA, transition is when a team gains possession of the ball after a defensive stop or attempts to score as quickly as possible.
Right. See, Pin, that's what I'm saying. I was trying to say transition, and I meant to say early offense. I meant to say fast break offense. So I apologize for saying transition offense.
So
but still, you have to stop
the question
the ball.
remains for a team. Okay, Ox, for a team that is prioritizing early offense, like a team that wants to run it down your throat, wouldn't you say that team
Focus, Mars.
will have a harder time off a make than off a miss? If they're pushing it down your throat anyway.
No, I don't.
Okay, cool. Let's just end the discussion there. That's cool.
Right,
If we don't even have a
we should probably move on. They've been asking us to move on for a while now. Just
cool.
to be clear.
Yeah.
Man,
I agree.
look.
Let's move on.
Y'all better sit back and enjoy the goddamn show. That was a hell of a conversation. Where else do you guys hear a conversation about defensive transition? You
A
don't.
few places thinking
No, you
basketball.
don't. No, you don't.
My channel.
Not like this. Not
with
this in depth.
chill.
We don't.
Big Ox Media.
Exactly.
If we would have been talking about Trae Young versus Luka Doncic offensively, y'all would have sat back and slurped it up like a 7-Eleven drink.
That's a fair
Y'all
conversation.
would have loved it.
There isn't a Luka Trae conversation defensively.
It clearly was. It was clearly two people that had a difference.
We actively had the conversation.
Swipey, you're saying it because you believe one person's better. Well,
no, they're
else
both.
believes
Thank
somebody
God
else
for
better.
that Slither man.
If here's a bad,
Super chat.
line, here's Luka, and then here's Trae Young. Like there, you know what I mean? Here's bad, here's Luka, and then here's Trae Young. Here's Luka when he doesn't help. After first rotation, Luka. Matter of fact, Mar, after the first rotation, Luka and Trae right here. Is that fair? Is that fair?
When it comes to second effort, Luka.
Oh yeah, it's over. It's over.
Swipey,
Play's over.
you're supposed to say that because you and
That's
Luka
all like
are from the
that.
same territory, so I get it.
Oh, you gonna swap
But
it?
it's definitely a conversation.
No,
Wait, me? I'm trying to defend Luka because we're Yugoslavian.
no, he's saying
You and Swiper.
He's saying I'm Yugoslavian because of Jokic and the "Where you from" joke from Kevin Durant in the summer and all that stuff. It's
okay.
a long-running joke.
I always
Cool.
thought the transition. I always thought the
Swipevich,
transition.
I remember.
I just wanted to know. I would miss. I got about I just want to be clear. I heard originally the Embiid stuff where y'all talked about the article, I imagine, and the leadership stuff, and there's a book that came out in 2015 about him, and similar issues the last 10 years. Okay, got you.
I always thought the transition was exactly that transition from one thing to the next.
Make or miss. Like
So fast break
what I
and
hope.
transition are defined differently. By the way, just to be clear. Like,
Yeah, I knew what Ox was saying. I just view it as early offense. Like that's why,
Right.
what the Clippers do, the Pacers last year, like that's just early offense.
And
Which is
I
why we get
I realized Pin after a second with that, the difference and how we were having the difference right there, transition to early offense. So that's why I said I misspoke. My bad. But I meant early
That's
offense.
cool.
Like you can get the ball out the rim and still run, regardless if you make it or miss.
No,
it.
it's
more,
cool.
the more important thing is you have to stop the ball on defense, whether you made the basket or missed the basket. And that's just the main point I was trying to get across.
Cool.
That regardless if the ball goes through the hole or not, we still have to stop the ball because to some people in the chat's point,
I agree with
every
you,
team doesn't play like that. Every team doesn't play like that. But for the teams that do practice that, for the teams that do want to get it out quick, you have to stop the ball regardless of what happens.
Yeah. So what all I was trying to say is like Domantas Sabonis may not be the best defender in the world to most people, and obviously that's an understatement. A lot of people, comment on things he can't do, but one of the things that he does great is he rebounds great, right? He's a big body and he keeps your offense consistent, and he doesn't turn the ball over an egregious amount of time for someone who handles that much offense, right? So he makes that predictable. And again, for me as an offensive team, I want him to turn the ball over so that I can get in transition. What my definition of transition, I want him to miss, or I want him to, throw. I don't want him to throw the ball out of bounds. I don't want him to put the basketball in the hole because then I got to take it out of bounds and start my offense from out of bounds, which delays offense by like a second. In fact, it's a really good conversation to have about why Russell Westbrook's rebounding was such an important part, and why point guards in general that can rebound as well as they can are so good for offense, because you don't have to waste that extra second for the big, like an Andre Drummond, to come down and then find the point guard. You know what I mean? Like you can just grab it and go. And that's why teams that have multiple ball handlers are the best teams in the league, in my opinion. Like teams like the Boston Celtics, where 4 guys can bring it up. Sometimes 5 guys. I've seen Al Horford bringing it up.
Yeah.
That's great. That's what you want. You don't want to waste that extra second, because the seconds count. when you're mismatch hunting, when you're cross match hunting, and you can get a imbalanced court, and suddenly you got early advantage. Kristaps Porzingis posting up Trae Young. Holy shit! You better get the ball up real fast. Find that advantage, and then you collapse the defense, send 3 to the ball, and then boom, open shooter every single time.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into these super chats. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you are subscribed to Player's Choice. And I see what y'all doing in the chat. Keep going. Realist123 sent through a super chat. He said, what do you know? Trae Young is 38% from the field. Been saying for years he is not as good as he thinks he is. Terrible defender and very inefficient scorer. Atlanta should trade and build with Dyson and Jalen Johnson.
I don't think they should trade Trae Young, but yeah, he is an inefficient scorer. He's been that for most of his career. Yeah,
Dyson Daniels is the only Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson, the only 2 reasons why I watch Atlanta. I don't watch them for any other reason.
You tell us that every day.
And I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Yes.
But I appreciate the Dyson Daniels shout out.
Ox, I need you to respond, brother. You lied on the timeline last night, Ox.
About what?
No.
No. Let me give the context. Chill. I said that the MVP thing was happening yesterday. I said Jason Tatum is the J. Cole of the NBA. I think J. Cole's a top 4 artist in the world.
Artist?
Rapper.
Okay, rapper.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Relax,
let me blackify a little bit.
You don't have to blackify jack shit.
Rappers, you know what I mean?
Nobody says
Cole,
artist and implies rapper.
Kendrick Lamar's an artist. Drake's an artist. I don't consider
Jermaine Cole clears both of them, bro.
All right,
he clears both of them. He's better than Drake.
Ron, put it. Go ahead and put it in there. Kendrick and J. Cole. And see what the audience says. It's not even
nobody in there.
Nobody thinks J. Cole. J. Cole even opted out of the whole thing in the first place because he knew his play. Can
we get back to Jason Tatum, please?
Well, all I said he's a J. Cole. All I said is to J. Cole. He's a J. Cole of the NBA. Chill. Am I wrong for that? He's elite. He's the J. Cole of the NBA. He's elite.
So he's the 4th best player in the NBA.
No, I mean, but Jay, I think he could be. I think he's top 3. I think Jay's top 3.
So who is Joker?
No, I mean, this is Lonzo Ball talked about this a year ago. We already know who Joker is. I'm saying that but then you got Drake. I think Drake could be considered Luka, one of them type of dudes or whatever else. But I don't know how you want to. Oh, Penn don't like that. I don't know why you don't like that. What's wrong with Drake and Luka?
Honestly, as
what's wrong with Drake and Luka?
Who refused in the PCL to debate you on Luka versus Jokic?
Well,
please understand where my allegiance is on this one. Okay, I am getting so sick of how you talk about Luka Doncic, bro. I'm getting really sick.
Drake is top 2. What are you talking about?
Drake ain't top shit.
What? Who's over Drake other than Kendrick?
J. Cole.
Jay-Z.
Stop it. Jay-Z.
Eminem.
I'm so perplexed right now.
Me too, Moss.
Andre 3000.
I do understand. I do understand where we.
Jay-Z is LeBron.
Nas.
That man's old. He's old. He's out of it.
Keep
not
going?
even in the conversation. Nah, I'm good. No, I don't want to hear it.
That's crazy.
All right,
Nas and Jay-Z in 2024.
I respect Jay in 2054. But either way it goes. Your
KRS-One. Keep going.
You running 5.7. Yeah, there we go. He said if the Bucks get back to the 3 or 4 seed, do you guys see Giannis being an MVP front runner?
No.
33 points per game, which leads the league. 13 rebounds per game, which will lead the league soon. 7 assists. On 61% field goal shooting,
things said together.
In middies, by the way.
Hashtag
we have a bet.
All I'm saying is all things together. He's been the best player in the East last week and 2 weeks.
Even
last 2 weeks.
Type
2 weeks.
He's the best player in the East anyway.
But I'm saying Tatum on the whole had been better. I just think that
he hasn't.
All right, bro. That's what I'm saying. I've been advocating for Tatum being top 3 this whole time, but apparently I'm all.
He's not over Giannis.
Yes.
You advocate for him after Giannis and Jokic.
Who do you knock out of the top 3 to put Tatum in the top?
Just for this year. There's nothing to do with anything.
He hasn't been better than Giannis this year.
Yeah, Yeah, Luke, you take Luke out and put in
Anthony
Anthony
Davis
Davis.
is two.
So, like, I'm
Anthony
not
Davis
putting
is
in
two.
Jason Tatum. Jason
Anthony
Tatum's not been
Davis
better
is
than Giannis, AD, or Jokic. Like, he can be fourth. Cool. Even though
But back to
Kevin
the
Durant was
back to
better
the super chat. No, you do not get credit for putting the fire out that you started. No, you don't. I don't
when
think
I say that about the Cavs 3-1
No.
comeback, apparently I'm wrong.
good. You do not get. You not. You
Well,
do
that
not
was
get credit
crazy
for
though,
that.
Mars. Did you see that, bro?
It was crazy. I'm just saying. I think it's more impressive to sweep a team than come back 3-1.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not I'm a hater for saying that.
No, it's not so much about the Cavs coming back as much as it is the Warriors losing the 3-1. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But like, you put yourself in a hole and then get out the hole. I'm not gonna be like, oh, well done. Like, just don't put yourself.
they
in the hole
came back
first.
from 3-1. Yeah, but they were down 3-1. I feel you on that, Mars. I'm
Yeah, that's how I've always viewed it. And apparently, I'm a hater for saying that. It's the same thing. But if I see someone win the MVP because they're the third seed in the East, I'm gonna be mad as hell. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be mad as hell.
Wait, chill. Do you think that your boy's at the top of the list right now?
Stop right now. Rewind really quickly. If you see somebody win the league MVP that's third in the East, you're gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
In the
they're gonna
East.
be like, they're gonna have like the
Why
12th
that?
best record in the NBA.
Yep. Just so you know,
Like,
Joe,
so they win it just because they're a third seed. That's gonna be annoying.
so just this season alone. All right. Okay.
Well, yeah, the year where the East is trash. Yeah.
But you never know though, Mars. That 3 seed might end up actually.
Yeah, if they end up being like a really, really good,
They're gonna have
team.
like wait. The 2 seed in the East had 51 wins last year, right? The Knicks.
I wanna
50.
say so, yeah.
They might have 50, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I want to say so. Yeah.
So chill. I think then after that was like 48.
They had 49. The
49.
Bucks.
So the 3 seed. So the 3 seed, whoever. Do you think they're MVP that can win 48 wins?
We're a month into the season. We don't know where these guys.
I know. We just got the premise. This is just the premise.
I don't know where these guys are going to end up, but I mean, I do know that I believe it was in if I'm not mistaken. I just want to make sure that I got this correct because I don't want to because like I said, you guys get on my case a lot about saying stuff. So if I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, yeah, Philly ended up being the third seed. They had the third best record in the NBA.
Yeah, we know why he won.
What year? What year?
That was 23 years. That's 23 years.
The year Joel Embiid won the league MVP in 23. They had the third best record in the NBA, and they were the third seed. Now, if the Milwaukee Bucks end up as a top 3 or 4 seed, I mean, I don't know how many wins that's going to take. I don't think that we're looking at like a 16 season where I'm the third seed and I got 44 wins. No, I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. But I don't think that you get credit for how they started. I mean, has there ever been a team that started 2-10 and then the league MVP the league MVP candidate came out of that? I don't think that's ever happened before.
Candidate?
I don't know. I don't know. All I know.
Even though I feel like Giannis is having another MVP caliber season, I 100% believe that Giannis is having another MVP caliber season.
Let me ask y'all this. And Penn, this might be directly a Penn's alley. He's a basketball nerd, just like I am. Penn, Mars, do you and everyone else? They're a minus 0.5 when Giannis is on the court this year. Does that matter at all to y'all? Like that they're not winning their Giannis minutes this year, chill? Like that they're not even like in Dame and Giannis, they're not winning those minutes either.
You mean they're not plus 43 when he's on the court?
Well, no. The Nuggets only up. They're only up.
How are they winning games if they're not winning those minutes when those guys are on the floor primarily? How are they winning games?
And I'm trying to figure out what's the lineup that they're a plus with. Because if you're going to tell me that every other lineup they're a -2, then
you can do that too.
Right. And then also, Swiper, I'm not going to buy the bullshit if it's Gary Trent Jr., DeLon Wright, Bobby Portis, and Brook Lopez. Oh, they're a plus 13 with these guys. So Brook Lopez is carrying this roster.
You're not buying what?
Come on, bro. I'm not. If you're gonna,
that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
How does it work?
Give me the lineup where it's a plus, then.
Well,
let me know how that works.
I didn't do lineups. I just said individual players. I was just asking about
what individual players are pluses
for the team? On that team right now, again, because they're playing versus bench units primarily. AJ Green is in a plus.
AJ Green has been amazing for that team.
Yep, but again,
he's been a breath of fresh air.
Primarily versus bench units. Andre Jackson, been a plus. Primarily versus bench units. Brook Lopez, it's a plus 1.1, but he also played with the bench. Like context. The Giannis, Pat Connaughton is next at a minus 0.2, and then Giannis is a minus 0.5, and then Dame is a minus 3.8. But Dame also like
What's Bobby Portis?
Bobby Portis is a minus 10.
Interesting.
Yeah, minus 10.
Yeah, that's not right.
What do you mean it's not right?
Okay.
Something that's off with that.
Okay.
Swiper literally rolled up into Dallas, did a drive-by shooting there, then drove his ass over to Milwaukee. Now doing a drive-by shooting there.
I actually defended Luka. He's not in trade conversation, so I don't even know how that happened.
Saying he's not in trade conversations is not a good defense.
I didn't bring up the trade. I think calling him a trade defender is slander. I don't think he's that bad of a defender. To me.
Trade defender. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the reason
that's not defense though. You're like a public defender at this point.
the reason Giannis
The worst public defender ever.
I'm the worst.
You're honored.
No,
Luka Doncic is not as bad as Trae Young. A conversation that should never have been had by literally anybody. In fact, it's even happening is crazy.
It was being had, so I interjected.
But it shouldn't have been had.
I didn't bring it up.
but it was had. So I mean, but the reason Giannis's net rating is negative is because he's played over 150 minutes with Bobby Portis.
Can you get to the real point though? Why is it really that bad? Because he's not Jokic. That's why it's really that bad.
It's because Doc Rivers is putting him on the floor.
Hold on. Anthony Davis just got into the positives too, so that's why I'm just. It's not even like a. That's what I'm saying. I can't even like move without people doing this Nuggets thing. It's just a legitimate, straight up question. It's like an honest answer to the question. I even said to you, Penn is a basketball nerd who's never hooped in his life. Can you please explain why do you think this number
never hooped in my life?
That's all I said. It wasn't even that big of a deal. The question wasn't even crazy.
He not respecting your basketball acumen.
That's all right.
Crazy, Penn.
But it's because he plays with Bobby Portis. That's the answer. It's because he plays a lot of minutes with Bobby Portis.
The lineups just don't work.
The Giannis and Bobby Portis lineups are
agenda.
Could it be the opposite? Maybe Bobby Portis is so low.
Bobby Portis is bad in every lineup. Bobby Portis is bad in every lineup.
Maybe because he plays with Giannis so much, he's dragging Bobby down.
But Bobby's negative.
The five-man lineup of Giannis Antetokounmpo, Green, Lillard, Lopez, and Prince. So no Bobby Portis is plus
the starting lineup.
What is it? Not really starting. The starting lineup has, for the most part, included Gary Trent, and the swap from Gary Trent.
AJ Green started a couple games.
Yes, and in that lineup, they're plus 15.2. But with Gary Trent swapping in exactly the shift between Trent and AJ Green is a net differential of 16.5.
A lot of that is to do with the Bucks' really bad start to the season, though. Like
a lot of that has to do with playing Taurean Prince and Gary Trent Jr. together.
That's true.
All I know is
you need the defender.
So it's I think a lot of this to answer the question why is Giannis's net rating negative? Or like when on off negative. I think part of it is just coaching and synergizing lineups. If you're going to play Gary Trent Jr. and Taurean Prince with him, you are diminishing his value and their value at the same time, and obviously the team's value. So you needed AJ Green to swap in for Gary Trent Jr. or swap in for Taurean Prince to create the balance. And when
you know what you need?
What?
You need Chris Middleton to hurry up and get back.
No, we don't.
That's what you need. So you can
no, we don't, Ron. No, we don't, Ron. We don't even know who he is, Ron.
But that's still not an excuse for the team.
Okay, and it's only
no,
one
Swipe, but I'm
way to
not
find
him
out
off the hook with that. I'm sick of Ron with this bullshit. This is twice in a row. This is 2 years in a row.
Twice in a row that we don't need Chris Middleton back? That's a fact.
Not the point, Ron.
What?
2 years in a row that Chris Middleton has been out in the beginning of the season. 2 years in a row. We don't even know what's going on with him.
That doesn't mean they don't need it. That doesn't mean they don't need it.
That's not the point that I'm making, Mars. That's not the point that I'm making.
But that's what Ron said, and you started yelling. So
the reason why is because Ron thinks this dude is just going to come back and just be super sharp. He hasn't played in how long?
Well, okay, come back and get sharp. Come back and get sharp so we can use you.
No, he's on his way though, because he's been medically cleared apparently. So he's just getting back. So he's so chill. He's not. So chill, he's not rushing because he's been cleared apparently to play. So now I guess he's getting back into shape, getting right, getting ready to come back. He's been Batman before, chill. He could do it again.
Yeah, you don't use that Batman.
I'm not saying Chris Middleton don't got to get back to his finals form. But even Chris
Middleton,
does he have to
get back? What does he have to get back to, Ron?
Chris Middleton has proven that he's a shot maker. He's proven that he can go one-on-one and get us a bucket.
Did that last
he is relief for Giannis. He's relief for Dame. He's relief for Brook Lopez. He gives us his IQ is just night and day above Gary Trent and Taurean Prince.
Sure.
And then on top of that, we just talked about lineups with dudes off the floor and stuff like that. I would much rather Chris Middleton be out there in a lineup where Giannis isn't on the floor than any of those other guys other than Brook Lopez. And that includes Dame. I trust the Chris Middleton, a lineup where Giannis is off the floor. I trust Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez. And then the other three guys, Doc, do what you got to do. But as long as those two guys are out there, I'm okay with it. I'm fine.
Hey, did he have surgery on both ankles at the same time?
Yeah, he had double ankle surgery. Yeah.
To speak on this, the best lineups, the three best lineups for the Bucks last year. One was Giannis, Beasley, Lillard, Lopez, Middleton, which was a plus 15.6 in 600 minutes played. Then you had Giannis, Beasley, Crowder, Lillard, Lopez, and then you had Giannis, Beasley, Connaughton, Lillard, Lopez. So the best lineup did feature Chris Middleton.
About last year?
No Bobby
Yes.
Portis. Interesting.
I mean,
No Bobby Portis.
Well, they have
But
What do you
it's
expect
worth
from
noting.
Bobby Portis? Because you've been really critical of Bobby Portis.
I
He's a
expect people to
rotation-
realize that he's hurting the team. That's why I
he's
expect
a-
In
he's a
54 minutes,
rotation
though,
player,
their
boss.
best-
That's
No,
what he is.
but he's
They
not
were
been good
plus-
at all this year, Chill.
he shouldn't be in the rotation.
Yes,
He should be in the rotation.
He
should not.
sabotages the team when he's on the floor. He shouldn't be in the rotation.
So he should be off
That's
the
the
floor.
problem.
He's
Yeah.
been really
That's why I've been. That's
bad
my
this year.
issue. If the Bucks want to win, they need
Really
to
bad.
get him off the court.
No, chill. But I'm
This
saying
is
objectively
really bad.
though,
Wow.
he's been
Mhm.
horrific.
So he
this
hasn't been
year.
helping them at
But
all.
is it possible that when Chris Middleton comes back, Bobby Portis will take a lesser role and be able to be more of a positive again, where Chris Middleton's
who he
taking
is,
more
though,
of the
right?
shots? I
That's
can see that being a possibility. I don't
That's who
think
he
Bobby
is, though,
Portis,
right?
I don't think Bobby Portis is as bad as he's looked this year,
Right.
or as bad as the numbers show. Bobby Portis is one of the guys. He's there to kind of muck it up a little bit, hit some big shots. Be one of those guys. I don't think he's supposed to be this premier guy that we're taking him as. But once Chris Middleton comes back, I do think the team will look a lot better. A lot better. Chris Middleton is that good to me.
I agree. They need
That's just my opinion.
They need Chris Middleton. I agree with that for sure.
How are those wheels with Chris Middleton? And how many more years we got with Chris Middleton?
I don't know. Bad ankles. It's a lot. There's a lot to deal with.
Second year in a
more
row
than
that he's
Joel.
missed training camp and he's missed the start of the season.
You said it's more than Joel.
Yeah, he'll be around longer
Ox,
than Joel.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Ox. You really don't like Joel, but I think it's just because of what's inside of him. You don't like when people are like that. I know. I get. I know. I kind of get what Ox's framework.
I don't like a lot of things about Joel. I think he's really good at basketball though. I can't deny that he's good when he's healthy. I just think there's a by me saying that he stays injured, that doesn't mean I don't like him. I'm talking about injury wise. I don't see how a guy that big and with these type of knee problems can stay around for that long. It has nothing to do with anything personal. It's just like, bro, you can't move that well. And
How
you
many
really
players
big.
in the league would you start a franchise over before you start a franchise with Joel Embiid?
Oh,
Like right now, knowing what I know, knowing what I know.
Knowing what you know.
Oh
Ox.
yeah, it's that list is at least 15 players deep.
I'm including Cooper Flag in that list.
Yeah, you can't start a franchise with this.
Sure.
Start a franchise or just half for a season?
No, it's
Oh,
not a
starting-
franchise.
I'm talking start a
No, no.
franchise.
But
Like you're an
well, I mean, you're
expansion
not gonna-
team in
you're-
Seattle. You're an expansion team in Seattle.
You can't say that though, Pin.
Yes, you
Like,
can.
Yo,
I
bro,
mean, you can't say
ask
that.
a question. What do you mean I can't say
I'm-
that?
No, here's
Yeah, I think you
check
can
me
say
out.
it,
Check
man.
me out. What I'm saying. Of course, you can say it. What I'm saying is like
I
choose
asked
Russell
a
Westbrook
question.
over Joel.
nobody's gonna choose Joel Embiid. If we're talking
That's
about
his
starting
point.
a franchise,
That's his
but I'm
point.
saying, well, obviously that's the point. I'm saying though,
Would
even
you, would
for
you
a
choose?
season,
Would you choose
even for a
Jokic?
season,
Would you choose Shea?
Yes,
What?
that's not even a question.
So that's the question. That is the question. Hold on. No. These are all
course.
teams. They're built around the idea that
Or
superstars are going to be great. And I love how the hell we got 1 hour and 53 minutes into this conversation. We didn't talk about Haliburton having 4 points last night. How do we do that, Ron?
Well,
I was waiting to get to the.
But he
How do we
doesn't-
get? How
but he
do
doesn't
how do
look
we
the
get?
same, man.
Yeah, you
He
drink
doesn't-
some water before you talk about this, please.
That's
Ron,
not water.
did you watch that game last
Hey,
night?
that's something else in my cup.
Did
Yeah,
you watch-
I watched a little bit of the first half.
Oh, that makes sense now. Now all
Halliburton
the pausing
was
makes sense.
actively the worst player on the court by a substantial margin.
Was
Holy
TJ
crap.
McConnell better than
1
him?
for 7. Yes.
Yes.
TJ was
And
balling,
and
man.
The
Quentin
ball man
Jackson-
was better than him.
Quentin
Trying to tell
Jackson
ya.
was giving us
Hey,
buckets.
shout out.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
He's
Tyrese
giving us
Haliburton
buckets.
needs to hire Swiper for his crimes against basketball this season.
Tyrese needs to get
Swiper,
traded.
I'm
They
gonna
have a point
give
guard
you. I'm
already.
gonna give you a legal career
Well,
free shout out. 1-800 call Swiper.
just to be clear though, just to be clear about what Caitlin Cooper, who's a brilliant mind, she posted all the highlights of his drives and his defense, his recovery. He does not look like the same player. I'm being honest with you, Pitt. I don't think he's the same player. I think he's been hurt, and I think he's been mad tentative since that point, which is obviously why he looks terrible. I'm saying he's gone from last year, where he was elite, to now. Who is this dude?
This
Like,
the guy
literally,
that I swear was better than De'Aaron Fox.
Last year he was.
Hang on.
Yeah, he was.
So the Haliburton conversation has been had multiple times. In fairness, every bad game he has,
he was better than De'Aaron Fox all year last year.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. De'Aaron Fox started the season off well and started shot chucking and missing everything. That's the season went on.
I think Haliburton probably was better than De'Aaron Fox last
Golly,
year.
bro. I'm not even trying to slander Fox. That man started off on a Steph Curry streak and then bottomed out. But because Ox is up here, we got to pretend like it didn't happen.
No, because y'all give Tyrese the injury excuse, and I don't never bring up De'Aaron Fox's injuries because I don't care about that. You on the court, you on the court.
Right.
I'm saying you on the court, you on the court.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I just think he just looks horrible. Ox, but he looks horrible. Multiple games for single digits, and he can't defend anybody. Who is this?
There's a lot of point guards playing better than Tyrese Haliburton. A lot.
You remember last time when I referenced the fact that last year he had 7 box plus minus, and then this year it was 0.7, and I said it was probably going to go down. And you were like, at least it's positive.
Did it go down?
It's positive 0.1. He is hanging by a thread. One more bad game, and Tyrese Haliburton will post a negative box plus minus after literally being a box plus minus merchant last year. He was in Jokic conversations to start last year. The fall off is egregious. The fall off of Tyrese Haliburton last year to this year, injury, no injury, paid, no paid, I don't care, is bigger than the fall off that Charles Barkley sustained in Space Jam. It is bigger than that.
That's a big fall off.
That was a big fall off.
I mean, let's try to have a conversation. Did Charles Barkley actually have the worst fall off of all the players that got affected by the Monstars in Space Jam?
100%. It was Charles.
I don't know. It might have been Sean Bradley.
No,
Patrick Ewing.
Ox, did you see Pat?
Yo, Pat was crazy.
No. Charles had
throwing the ball over the backboard.
Charles is awful. But I what I want to talk about is how Miles Turner just got roughed up. I said he was soft, and I wasn't trolling, but I was about 85% sure that he was soft. Sengun roughed him up last night. I thought they did everything that they could to just go after him. I thought Sengun took advantage of him on the box. I thought he took advantage of him in the post. I thought he took advantage of him in transition. They were running action specifically to go after Miles Turner, and he didn't do anything at the rim against Sengun. I thought Sengun did a great job against him. Now, as far as what Houston does, I think this is sustainable. I do. Indiana just looked like a different crew. They're like a completely different crew. Tyrese Haliburton does not look confident in his shot. He does not look confident when he has the ball in his hands. It doesn't look like something good is going to happen like it did last year. It just looks like he just looks like another point guard. He doesn't look like an elite point guard. That's what he looks like out.
Shout out to Tyrese.
Shout out to Jabari Smith.
Yeah, whatever. Shout out to Tyrese.
Man.
No, amidst a terrible season, give him his credit where credit is due.
Yeah,
Fred VanVleet and Jabari Smith showed up last night.
Yes, he did.
Tyrese Haliburton did not.
Wait, had Fred VanVleet cleared CP3 yet with 9 days left in the month? No.
Let me get the numbers.
Look it up.
Let me get the
numbers.
Look it up. 9 days left. 9 days left, Marge. Your reputation's on the line.
We still got time. We got back to back against Portland. Fred VanVleet needs a stat pad. That's what we need. So Chris Paul averaging 11 and 8, 47, 40. Okay, so he more efficient.
And do the
yeah. I'm doing the box plus man. I go
do the pin stats.
I go to the box plus man. So Chris Paul 2.6 box plus minus. Okay. Fred VanVleet is averaging 16 and 6. Only 1 turnover. So I think his turnovers are better than Chris Paul.
Fred VanVleet's at 3.5 box plus minus. So you're good.
So Fred VanVleet has a better plus.
No, do everything else too. Do on court.
Fred VanVleet has a 0.7 VORP. compared to Chris Paul's 0.5. Interesting.
Do the on-court stats, Mark.
Let's hear it.
What do you mean the on-court stats?
The on-court net rating. Do it. Get to it.
I'm getting
Get
to
to
it.
it.
I'm getting to it.
Fred averages more blocks, more steals.
I don't care about
Fred-
that.
Averages more.
Fred has a plus 9.7 net rating. Fred has a plus 9.7 net rating.
Wow.
Chris Paul has. Bear with me.
Now add worst team. Add the worst team tax.
And Chris Paul has a plus 4, but the net differential, Chris Paul has a better net differential.
Yeah. Worst team, by the way. They got Wemby, and that's it.
Yeah, but Chris Paul plays a large portion of his minutes with Wemby, though. So
Yeah, okay. What's that mean? I wish I could play with Shingun and
the
Jalen
Chris
Green,
Paul-
and Thompson.
Chris Paul minus Wemby. So Chris Paul on the floor, no Wemby, negative 20 net rating.
Wemby, okay.
Yikes.
Wemby's worth.
Wemby
Hold on.
Merchant. I don't know.
Wemby's worth
Y'all know
4
I
of the
hate Fred
starters.
VanVleet, but this conversation is ridiculous.
No,
it
no, it's
needs
not.
to,
No,
it
it's
needs
not.
to stop. It needs to stop.
Let me pull up the stat head.
It's not his
comparison.
reputation that's on the line. It's literally your reputation that goes in the toilet.
No,
every time you bring it up.
I
Saying
was
a
right.
30,
I was literally right. What the last time he brought it up? What are you talking about? Yapping.
you
Yeah.
have
Yo,
been literally wrong.
we about to move forward.
No. And
We
one of
about
us
to
making
move forward.
No. And one of us
Striper,
making $10
we
million
about to move
a year.
forward. We
And
not
one of
about
us
to
making
talk about
$10
Fred
million a
VanVleet
year.
and Chris Paul, my man.
Yeah.
DSG
all right.
Piccolo sent through another super chat. He said, good recommends of the operation. A good loss. Feel like if Scoot didn't get hurt, we win that game. Tumani FC, we for sure up. Made Shea work. Some nasty calls in Shea's favor. On to Houston Friday.
I was watching that game last night, Mars. Portland doesn't suck, yo. They don't.
Yeah,
I've
who
seen
told you?
Hartenstein back.
They don't
came
suck.
back. That was good. That was a big deal. Hartenstein coming back. That was a huge
Chill.
deal for OKC.
They're competitive. They got good talent,
Yeah.
but they suck.
No,
won-
Ron, they don't.
They won
They
3
suck.
straight.
They don't suck, yo.
Like in the pantheon of teams,
Mhm.
they are closer to last than they are to the middle
Well,
of the
okay,
pack.
and again, what I'm not doing is I'm not putting them up against Oklahoma City. I'm not putting them up against the Golden State Warriors.
That's
I'm
what
not
they're
putting them. Okay, sure.
They're in the
Now,
Western
if you're
Conference. They gotta play OKC and Golden State. They're in the
okay,
same-
and if you're comparing them to those teams, okay, they're not a championship contender. They're not that good, but they are compared. They're a lot better than what I thought they were going to be.
So they're talented.
Yeah,
They
like that
got,
about
they
them.
got some young guns over there.
yes, they don't
You
suck.
get 18 out the lineup. They look competitive. Yeah, I agree.
They don't suck.
Anthony Simons.
Both of
That's the gap.
Mhm.
Okay. Now I like
They don't
Simons as an
suck.
offensive player, but he don't play defense. At least Scoot tries on defense. I'll give him that.
Oh, the Trae Young thing. Shade and Sharp FC. We still looking all right. Wasn't our best game, but when that's not our best game, we're still able to put up 20. Like, we'll take that. Tumani FC for sure. Tumani FC, we doing our thing. But this was an Isaiah Hartenstein game. It was Isaiah Hartenstein coming back.
He got busy.
That was-
Yes, he did.
That was a big deal for me. The passing was there, the playmaking was there, the rebounding value was there, offensive rebounding. So Hartenstein being back this soon, big deal considering Chet's not going to be there. So I think OKC, I'm not going to say they got lucky that Hartenstein's back, but they're going to be very thankful that Hartenstein came back when he did, because it was perfect timing, is what I'll say. Perfect timing.
All right, y'all. The Phoenix Suns are currently on a 5-game losing streak, and they have lost 6 out of their last 7 since Kevin Durant got injured in a win against the Dallas Mavericks. In a recent
Sounds
interview,
like a great player.
Yeah, it sounds like someone who's more valuable than just putting the ball in the basket. I don't know.
Sounds like a top 10 player of the last 25 years. Would you
So,
say?
yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. I don't know.
Sounds like a great player. Deserves a statue. Just want to throw that out there.
the 76ers lost 5 straight games without Joel Embiid.
And then how many they win with him, Marsh?
0.
But I'm saying
Well,
the
well,
76ers,
well,
0-4.
we
Are
could
0-4
go around. We
with
could
him.
go around the room and take off the best. Matter of fact, I ain't finna do this with y'all today. You almost had me.
No,
Wait.
we don't have to do it. It just sounds like KD is more valuable than all he does is score. I don't know.
That was close, bro. You almost fell for it.
That's
bro.
all I'm saying. It sounds like he does more than he scores.
Don't engage.
Fair enough.
But
In a recent interview, the Suns GM, what is it, Matt Ishbia?
That's his
Ishbia?
owner.
Ishbia.
Owner.
Ishbia.
He's their owner.
Matt Ishbia. He was talking with Shams, and they were speaking on whether Kevin Durant will be with the Suns after the season, and he simply said, Kevin
You don't know
Durant's
that.
not going anywhere.
Right.
And then he highlighted some things that he likes about Kevin Durant, specifically the open communication with Durant. He said if he doesn't agree with something, he'll tell you. If you text him, he'll respond right back and tell you, here's what I think. So talk to me about the Suns and Kevin Durant and them not.
I know from personal experience.
Real quick, Swap, before I don't got much to say. I want you got it. I just want to say, and thank you for the chat for reminding me to say this. Y'all need to stop acting like Bradley Beal isn't on this team.
He on the team.
It's true.
Okay. Just want to make sure. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to that. I know from personal experience that Kevin Durant does respond quickly. So I do think that if he wants to stay, he will be there. But let me ask you this: rather, who's more likely to stay? Deion with Colorado or Kevin Durant with the Phoenix Suns?
Kevin Durant with the Phoenix Suns.
Why everything got to turn into a Colorado conversation with you?
Why would Deion?
Deion, remember the Cowboys thing. The Cowboys thing.
He's not going to the NFL. He's not going to the NFL.
That's the only up.
No.
That's the only up though. That's the next level.
No, it's not.
It's more levels above Colorado, but
there's a job in
with
Tallahassee.
all due respect, he's doing
Tallahassee. I'm not going to FSU.
There's a job in Tallahassee that could really use him.
They just got the number one quarterback in the nation. I'm good. I'm staying here if I'm doing that.
He flipped? Julian flipped?
Yep. He
flipped
this morning?
Just like 10-15 minutes ago.
And just so you know, that dude, he would, and just so you know, he would flip the Florida State.
We ain't done yet.
If Coach Prime went to Florida State, he'd flip the Florida State too.
He would. He quit.
And he said, hey, chill. He said, I don't want no hot sausages and picked eggs. That's what he said.
We were talking about the Phoenix Suns. Do you have any takes? Do you have any takes about the Phoenix Suns?
I think we ain't done yet. Y'all do know we got a Deion Sanders hater up here.
Bro, don't do that.
Ooh.
All right. Never mind. Let me stop.
Don't stop. You started it. Don't stop.
Right now.
Don't stop. No, Swiper.
This never happens when I'm listening.
No, it doesn't.
About Deion Sanders, you can't stop me from getting my take off. Swiper. Let's make it clear. There was no hate. There was just accountability. I was just saying, just like they said, I want wins over clicks. You know what I'm saying? They're winning games, but they was weak last year. People act like they wasn't. I was just keeping it real. Everybody act like if you go against Deion, then you're a sellout. You go against Deion, you're racist. Them fools weren't doing nothing last year. Now they doing something. They were building
the program, Ox.
That's what's up.
It took Offset and Lil Wayne being on the field in week 2, week 3, or whatever week that was to get them recruits.
Crazy. They out there getting blasted, and everybody acting like Deion is changing the game of football. Fuck out of here. What are you talking about?
He was. Look at him now.
He wasn't. We never seen him go 10-2 before, Ron. What are you talking about?
We never seen Colorado.
Hold on, Ron.
The boy changing the whole city, the whole state. Ron, Swiping to have more pep in his step since Deion took that job.
That's what's up. Okay, don't bring it up and then just start yelling. All right. What I'm saying is, congratulations to them. I'm happy. When I see them doing good, I can say you're doing good. But when I see you not winning no games, I'm not going to pretend like you're the best team in the country. I'm not going to do that. All right.
Last year was
out there. Okay, but I'm talking about
changed last year from the year before that as well.
Ron, last year I can't hold them accountable for walking around acting like they was doing something flash and watching some people's face and getting their asses kicked. And this year now they winning.
They had a winning record last year. That's number one. Number two, before that,
they weren't getting their ass kicked.
That's number one. Number two,
I
don't know if you know this, but the year before Deion Sanders got to Colorado, these are how many games they won in the Big 12.
And they was weak
then. 0.
They was
terrible.
Weak then too.
Right.
So?
And what happens is when you go from 0 wins to now being a competitive team to now being in a college football playoffs, which is what it looks like they're going to be.
For him too.
Just so you know, the Colorado Buffaloes used to be a big-time program. In the 90s, they were competing for national championships. They were garbage for 15 years. Coach Prime comes in, and he completely empties out that entire roster, changes the culture around there. Guess what they're doing now? They're now back in contention. They're now back in effect.
I know that, Chill, and that's what I'm saying. I haven't said a negative word about them winning games. I don't give a damn about them. So I'm not out here talking about them. I don't care whether they win or lose. But if we bring them up, like, congratulations, y'all. If we bring them up and they're getting smacked, I'm gonna say y'all got throttled.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
Well, and
Nothing wrong with that.
well,
That don't make chill. That don't make me a hater.
they haven't
I
made
love
a big.
hey,
They
That's
haven't
not
made
all
a
that
big
was said,
deal.
Chill.
Hold on,
Chill, that's
Ron.
not all that was
Hold on,
said.
Ron.
It was
Stop,
deeper
Ron,
than that.
stop. Ron, stop this
Fair
shit,
enough.
please, because I know we need to move on. And, I don't got time for this. For
All I'm
everybody
saying is I
talking
think
fine.
we ain't done yet.
Okay,
Y'all
Ron.
know
Okay.
that
Hold
Karl
on,
Anthony
Pin, real
Towns
quick, Pin,
and
because
Jalen
look,
Brunson had
that shit
70
is
points
crazy.
last night.
That
That
is
was amazing.
crazy. It's crazy. Pin, you can't be patient for 2 seconds. Y'all over
Keep
here
going,
stressed
Ox.
out.
Keep
You about
going.
to have
You
a
know we got
you about
33
to
super
have
chats
a
and like
you about to have
4
a
games
brain
to break
you
down.
about to have a brain aneurysm because we not talking about exactly what you want to talk about, bro.
Keep
Sit
going,
down for
Ox.
a second, bro.
Finish what
Damn.
you're saying, Ox. Keep
So
going.
what I'm saying is we got dudes running all over acting like they doing something. I love Deion Sanders. Prime, that was one of my favorite athletes of all time. But I'm not gonna act like something's happening that's not happening. Now that it's happening, I'm congratulating. I don't got nothing negative to say about it. And that's all. Go
Can
ahead.
we just to your point, Ox? Can we recognize progress? However,
Yes, I recognize progress. 100%.
and last year was progress, brother. I know you might not. I know you might not have felt the ice. I know you might not have felt the boisterous attitude, but that's part of the progress. We were garbage, and now we're not garbage anymore. We're making progress. Now I can appreciate your logic in being critical of them when they lose games, right? But they're winning more than they're losing now, and now it's more progress than what it was. That's all I'm saying.
And that's what's up. And Swiper, that was, and I was really just upset about that because I just thought that was just bad character. Like, that's a grown man. You running over there flashing and watching in front of this man's face. Like, that was crazy. But hey, it's no big deal. Like,
now, Penn, to your point, to what you were talking about. One, Bradley Beal has been out these last 5 games that they've lost. He hasn't played. That's number one. Number two, I don't know what it is about Phoenix, but Jalen Brunson, he owns them. Like, he had 50 the last year that they went out there.
He's on the longest 3-point made streak against a single team ever. I don't know what
it is about Phoenix.
He can't miss. I don't
know,
15,
I don't know what it
14,
is about
something
them.
like that. He just cannot miss against them. That's crazy. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns has been a revelation. I think is worth talking about that this is probably the best version of Karl Anthony Towns we've ever seen. Oh God.
Yeah. What y'all told him that he was going to do that, Chill. Where's Julius Randle? Got him at the bottom of the conference. Look at Karl Anthony Towns.
Not you. Okay, cool. Bro, like, you're like a 6-year-old child. Why do you make everything about yourself and everything about Colorado, everything about Jokic, and everything else? Bro, we should have a conversation about Karl Anthony Towns before you inevitably derail it and talk about tennis.
Okay? How did I derail?
Can we do that?
Well, to be fair, about tennis.
You want to talk about curling next? How about ice hockey? How about figure skating?
Golf.
What do you want to talk about next?
Go ahead, Ox. We can't hear you.
Boy did retire yesterday too. What's his name? Raphael was on the.
Yeah, he did. Raphael Nadal. Yeah.
Raphael Nadal did retire yesterday, man. Shout out,
man. Shout out tennis. Hey, matter of fact, we should do a tennis ranking. Federer, Nadal. Who we got?
Andre Agassi.
Andre Agassi's up there.
Andre Agassi.
Who's 5? Chill. Who's 5? Who's 5? Chill. Who's 5?
Andre Agassi wasn't better than Pete Sampras. Andre Agassi wasn't better than Pete Sampras. But can we continue, please?
He brought it up. He brought it up.
KAT has been awesome, and thank God. Okay, KAT has been incredible, and
what are we doing?
You pulling me off too?
I'm sorry. As you were saying.
Oh my God.
KAT has been legitimately amazing. I think a lot of people are over talking about his defense and some of the issues on the defensive end, but some of his offensive, I think the spacing that he is creating for that New York offense is really unlocking everybody. His playmaking has been surprisingly good. He's always been like a low-key, good, decent, read and react kind of guy, but I think the spacing is creating like good advantages for him, and he's dishing it out quickly, and he's not turning the ball over egregiously, and he's just been unlocked. I mean, they combined for 70 points last night. I think they were great.
I thought they did a good job in spreading out Phoenix, and I thought they did a really good job at taking advantage of Nurkic, dragging Nurkic away from that basket. Karl Anthony Towns had him at the long ball line at the break, and Nurkic does not want to go out there. That's like a kid that can't swim. Like walking into the water, and the deeper the water gets, the more afraid that this kid gets. And he just did not look comfortable out there at all. I'm watching Bridges, and it looks like he's turning a corner more than anything. It looks like it's starting to come together. That shot is coming back. But more than anything, like you just mentioned, Penn, more than anything, I was really critical of Brunson and his ability to pass consistently. And he's been getting off the PL a lot. And that's largely due to the fact that Karl Anthony Towns is actually knocking down shots, even though he's always been he's always been one of the better big man shooters. But the fact that he's able to knock down shots, that spreads out defenses so much more. So I like what they're doing. I like what they're doing with the Knicks. I 100% like what they're doing.
You see
that?
What's the best
two-man? What's the best two-man game in the league right now? I mean, for a long time it was Jokic and Murray. That was like one of the best. Right now, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson feels like that's it. That feels great. It feels unstoppable. KAT's ability to pop and be, generally speaking, the best big man shooter that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yep.
It's insane. Like, it's a set shot, but it works. Yep. And it's creating maximum spacing. And Jalen Brunson's just ability to handle the pick and roll. Like, yeah, he's not the most dynamic passer. He may not have the most creative vision, but he can operate in that pick and roll, and he's a demon in that situation. So I think
your rendition of the best two-man game. I mean, that Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley action looks really good. It does.
But Mobley can't pop like that, though.
No, he can't. No, I'm not going to argue that. But him diving to the rim, him getting around the rim, him Donovan Mitchell finding him around the rim, that action is really good. I really like that.
Right now, the best two-man games on high volume, Penn, to answer your question, would be Dylan Brooks and Şengün, but we all know that that's not necessarily like a two-man game per se, but like they're plus 19.3. Jamal and Jokic surprisingly are plus 18.5. Drew Holiday, Al Horford, a plus 18.3. Darius Garland and LeVert are plus 17. But I was actually going to say Darius Garland.
We're not trying to hear about all these stats, Swiper. Use your eyes. That's what you try to tell me, right?
No,
let's use your eyes. Let's stop referencing Caitlin Cooper film breakdowns. Let's talk about basketball.
I never said that. I never said that. I don't believe in
basketball. I'm not trying to hear about this on-off split.
I don't believe in that.
I'm not trying to hear about box plus minus, even though I damn near bring it up every 5 seconds. I'm not trying to hear about that stuff. I'm talking about the eye test. I'm talking about the vibe test. Swiper. When I see Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns play the two-man game, my heart sings. It looks beautiful. I don't need stats to tell me that.
Yeah, that's damn good action. Yes, it is. We still got to
take me off screen. I don't want to see that. They don't know two-man game here. Go ahead, chill.
But I think Sabonis and Fox, that action is still one of the better two-man games in the league. Who else? Anthony Davis and James. Anthony Davis and James still looks good.
They haven't had a good two-man game in 3 years. Let me see. Who else is there?
What?
No, let me see who else is there. No, they haven't. I'm not gonna lie to you. They haven't.
What?
They haven't had a good two-man game in years. But
I just watched them a couple of nights ago. They were really good in the two-man action. The give and go and the pick and dive. They were really good.
Los Angeles Lakers two-man game.
Of course, here we go.
Anthony Davis?
What I'm doing, Penn, to your point, Penn, I'm using my eyes. That's what I'm doing.
Okay,
I'm watching the game, and I'm watching the
Don't your
two-man
eyes?
game. I'm watching the two-man game.
Your eyes told you Will Chamberlain's a GOAT passer.
Oh, my God. So, my eyes did tell me that. So what? That's right. My eyes did tell me that. 100%. 100% my eyes told me that. 100% they did. So,
bro, the wide-angle camera is making Swiper look like he's on a security cam footage right now. It's
100%.
It's my iPad. I'm working
me out, bro. It's like an 8 to 9 millimeter lens, and it looks hilarious because when you get your face up into it, is.
But back to your point, Swipe. Back to your point, Penn. This Knicks team was built to beat the Celtics more than anything. That's primarily what they were built for. They were built to beat the Celtics, and despite everything else that they're doing, no matter what else they do, they have to be measured against the Boston Celtics. But they looked good last night, though. They did.
Can they beat the Cavaliers? Would be a better question.
That's what's going to have to happen. They're going to have to get to the East Finals. They're going to have to beat either Cleveland or Boston. They're going to have to beat one of those teams to get to the finals. The East Finals.
The Knicks are currently on a 4-game winning streak, so salute to the Knicks. We'll see how far they can continue to go. The Cavaliers,
they won.
We're on a very long winning streak, and then they went on a long losing streak too.
Yeah, they
lost the game to the Celtics, and they got right back to what they were doing.
Did they lose that game?
Respect a certain bench player.
Ty Jerome
last night had a career high with 7 3-pointers made and a career high with 29 points and a career high and a half with 27 points in the first half. So salute to Ty Jerome. He got busy last night. The Cleveland Cavaliers took care of the New Orleans Pelicans to move to 16-1. The Pelicans are at the lows of the lows that you could possibly be They're at the
Ron,
bottom of the pot of the gumbo.
Let me put
at
something
4
on your
and
mind
12.
yesterday. Let me put something on your mind real quick, Ron. Yesterday against Cleveland, the New Orleans Pelicans trotted out Brandon Boston, Elfrid Payton, Javonte Green, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and Messi. That was their 5 to start the game. That might be one of the wackest 5s I ever heard in my life. That's who they started last night.
That's a good 5. That's a good 5.
Hey,
Would
Chill,
that
it's-
explain?
Steve
it's-
Messi.
It's no way that this hurt, Chill. They're faking injuries at this point.
They
That's
said
a
that
good 5.
90% of their payroll is injured right now.
Oh yeah,
Unbelievable.
That's not possible. Not
That's who they
possible. I'm
trotted
not
out yesterday.
I know the boy
against the
Cooper Flag
Cavs.
good, but damn.
buying.
That's a good 5, man.
You think that's a good 5, Mars? What about that 5 suggests that they're all right? Let's take Cleveland off the table, right? Let's take Cleveland off
His
the table.
benchmark for a good basketball player is Ben Simmons. Who are you asking this basketball
My
question to?
fault. You're right.
Ben Simmons had 10 the other night, and you ain't show up, so I couldn't even cook you. But it's cool. Whatever.
He did?
Oh,
He broke
Mars,
the
what I'm-
streak? My bad.
Mars, what I'm asking you, Mars,
Yeah.
that 5, right? That 5, that's a good 5. How are they faring against Indiana last night?
Probably win.
You think they beat Indiana?
Probably.
How about?
All right, we're trolling now, so let's.
I just want to make sure I'm not bugging out. That 5 last night, Mars. You think they beat Toronto?
Probably win. Yeah, probably win.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I just want to make sure that you're consistent with your logic when it comes to that 5 right there.
It's not like that 5 played the whole 48 minutes. Like,
No, they didn't, but they did have to dig into their bench with even worse. So
we're gonna keep moving through this.
Respect Antonio Reese.
We're gonna
Yeah,
keep moving through the association. The
Mhm.
Bucks improved to 6-9 by beating the Chicago Bulls by a score of 122 to 106. Giannis Antetokounmpo did what he typically does:
I love
41
this guy.
points, 9 rebounds,
do.
8 assists.
I love this guy. I just do. I'm a big time Giannis fan. I am.
I
I
think
talked about-
Giannis, that was 21 games with 40 plus or more, shooting 70%. He has the record with that.
Mhm. I'm a big time Giannis fan.
Who's second on that list?
I would assume Shaq.
Oh, I would have assumed LeBron. He'd be on every
Well, it
list.
could be Bron.
Yeah, he'd just be everywhere, just being annoying.
All right, but
doing for him.
next game we talked about this. The New York Knicks improved to 9-6. They beat the Phoenix Suns 138 to 122. The Suns are now 9-7. Before we move on to the next thing, Kevin Durant is supposedly targeting next Tuesday to come back. How desperately do the Suns need Kevin Durant to come back?
They need their whole crew.
And
Ron.
Bradley Beal.
They
And
need
Bradley
Bradley
Beal.
Beal back. They need Kevin Durant back. They need to shore up that 5 spot because how Mars feels about Bobby Portis, that's how I feel about Nurkic. I think he's killing him. I do.
I feel that way about Nurkic too.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
think
that way
he's
about
killing
both of
them.
them.
Yeah, I think he's killing them. I think that they need to upgrade at that 5 spot, and maybe their best course of action is to stick with Plumlee, even though Plumlee is a backup 5. But I feel like they could get better production if KD is on the floor. If Bradley Beal is on the floor, they could get better production out of Plumlee than they do Nurkic. I always had a problem with the motor. His ability to rebound has always been sporadic. He'll give me a game where he gives me 25 rebounds and then he'll give me 6, and the energy won't be there. Offensively, his jump shot has always been inconsistent. I'm good on Nurkic. I think he's the issue in Phoenix. I'm good.
All right, moving along. The Golden State Warriors beat the brakes off the Atlanta Hawks 120 to 97. The Warriors have improved to 11-3. The top is nice with Steph Curry up there. And the Atlanta Hawks are now 7-9. Steph Curry had 23 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds. So
7 for 10 from the floor. He was super sharp last night. He gave Dyson Daniels the business. Yes, he did.
Best team in the West right now, playing
Mhm.
11, 12 deep every single night. No one thought it would work, and it's working.
Losing Melton is a big deal, though.
Yeah, for the
Losing
year.
Mhm.
Yeah, losing Melton's a big deal.
Yeah, D'Anthony Melton is out for the year with
Yes.
a torn ACL, in case you didn't know.
Is
It's-
it torn?
That's
Oh.
terrible.
It's something with his ACL. They
I
said
thought
he's gonna
it was
have-
sprained.
he said he's gonna have ACL surgery. So
right.
it's
I didn't know it
something.
was torn.
But if Steph only has to play above 30 minutes against like the best teams in the league, and then he could just play 25 minutes against everyone else, that's the way to get a fresh Steph for the postseason. And you have a fresh Steph in the postseason, you got a shot. So the Warriors
I
look
won't
good.
argue that. Yeah, they do.
The Warriors,
they look
the
really good.
Warriors look good.
And why? If you go ahead, I'm sorry, Ron.
Oklahoma City put it on the Blazers last night, 109-99. OKC now has improved to 12-4, and the Blazers are 6-4 or 6-9. And J-Dub balled out last night. 30 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and J-Dub was just doing J-Dub things.
Tamani couldn't guard everyone. That's the problem.
My question, I talked about with New Orleans just a second ago. So yesterday, Oklahoma City, they go with Lou Dort, SGA, Wallace, Wiggins, and Dub. That's their 5. That's their 5 right there. So I'm trying to make sense. I'm like, how are these dudes winning games? What are they doing to win games? Well, one of the things they do to win games is they play fast. I like that about them. Number 2, they get out rebounded, but they gang rebound. I think that's good. They cause a lot of havoc around the rim in terms of gang rebounding. I do like that about them. They're really good on the perimeter as defenders. I didn't think that they would be. I thought that, losing Chet, I thought that was kind of stifled them a little bit, but they've been better. They've been a lot better than what I thought. Chet still makes them a championship contender, and I don't think they're a championship contender without Chet. Even with Hartenstein in the lineup, I don't think that they're a finals team with Hartenstein. I don't think that they could get there with him because I think Chet brings something different, completely different. But this Oklahoma City team is an anomaly. What they doing with this small ball lineup, and it's working. It's incredible.
And they've just gotten a little bigger. Hartenstein is now back. Came back last night.
They're not that small though. They're not that small. Like when you really consider, like, you don't play basketball with your head, right?
Correct.
So it doesn't matter how tall you are, right? We've seen a lot of undersized bigs succeed in the NBA on a high level. Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman, Ben Wallace, relative to the era that he played in, right? It's the long arms.
Lonzo Mourning.
It's the strength. Sure. There you go. Charles Barkley, 6'5", generously 6'5". Some people said 6'4". He wasn't that big, but he was a big dude, right? So you look at guys like Case and Wallace, you look at Alex Caruso, you look at Jalen Williams. These guys are very strong players. Lou Dort, dude's built like a linebacker. So that's how I think they're succeeding. Is that what they lose without the elite rim protector that Chet is, they gain a lot of that through just being switchable. You know what I mean? Like everyone's kind of the same size. It's a little bit like what the Raptors tried to do like a few years ago with Division 6'9" stuff, where they tried to draft a whole bunch of guys with super long arms and just say everybody's 6'9". You know what I mean? Except for Fred VanVleet.
But I think the difference of that is when you run into bigs like what Denver has, when you run into big teams like what the Lakers have, it could be a recipe for disaster because you can't really counter that. That's the downside to that. So I think that they need Chet back if they're really going to compete for the NBA championship.
No one's disagreeing. No one's disagreeing with that. I just think that they've been good because.
Did anybody get an opportunity to see Hartenstein last night?
I saw him.
How did we like him? How did he look? I know he had 13 points, 14 rebounds. I think he's the second player in their franchise history to do that, and the most rebounds on a debut night.
Out there looking like magic, and these dudes smoking layups. Get Wiggins off the floor. He's killing us.
No, I mean, Hartenstein looks about as good as I could hope for, if I'm being honest. Defensively, I liked what I've seen as a rim protector. Rebounding was great, especially offensive rebounding, which is his main value. Made some really nice passes, some passes that his teammates weren't ready for, some passes like Cho alluded to, where they just smoked layups. I think there was a play where they smoked back-to-back layups off his
same dude.
Pass. So that wasn't great. But Hartenstein's going to fit like a glove. He's great for them. And he's going to show that he's worth whatever they paid him. I think it was like 29 million or whatever. He's that good. He's legitimately that good.
Yeah, I think Sam Hinkie. Sorry, not Sam Hinkie. Wow, what am I saying Sam Hinkie for? Sam Presti. Sam Presti. Shout out. I've been thinking about the Sixers so much. I'm thinking Sam Hinkie. Sam Presti and Mark Dagnall are proving what happens when people who actually understand basketball use the numbers to their advantage. Because there's a lot of people out there that use numbers to mask the fact that they don't understand basketball, which I do not agree with. But when you really deeply understand the game, You don't need to look at the analytic box score. You don't need to see the EPM. You really don't. Like it's a nice verification test, but you can generally see it. When a guy is absolutely killing you out there on both ends, it's very unlikely that player is going to flash positive on the analytics. So I think that the OKC Thunder have really I think they're revolutionizing team building philosophy in general. They've been great. And Isaiah Hartenstein fits like a glove.
All right, y'all. The Houston Rockets slapped around the Indiana Pacers last night by a score of 130 to 113. The Rockets are climbing up. They climbing up the standings. They 11-5 right now, 4th in the West. Shout out the Rockets, man.
We should be 14-2.
Mars, can you push that seat? Because when I first opened up the door to the car, you kind of tiptoed to the car. You didn't get in, but you kind of tiptoed to the car. And you just kind of had your hand on the door, like I'm not really sure, but you got in. But the seat is still upright. You're not really, Mars. You can let the seat back a little bit. You can. I promise you, brother. This team is legit. You can let the seat back a little bit, and you can rest your leg. You can stretch your legs out a little bit, right? This team
was there a panelist who supported you in your Rockets take?
I think Mars just said he was here.
I said I think
Mars said he was here.
I said I want us to be in the plane. I hope he's right.
If I'm bringing it up, I'm obviously the panelist who supported you.
Yes, but Mars said he was here for it.
Yeah, 5th seed. I didn't.
I tried, bro. We tried to get Chill and I were trying to get the Rockets as high as possible, but no, we had to have Mars kibosh our entire Rockets hype train.
No, I didn't see the 5th seed. Our defense is real. That's what I didn't think our defense would be this good. Sengun's taken a massive jump defensively. Yep. Tyrese and being back healthy is one thing I did know was going to be extremely impactful. And then Thompson is, like I said, really, really good. Jabari's been fine on defense. Dylan Brooks has had a really good start to the season, particularly defensively.
Sure.
Mars, do you guys have a bad defender?
The most negative defenders on our team are Jalen and
Tate. Maybe
he don't play.
Jalen
Reeds and Steven Adams probably
Cam
been our
Whitmore?
worst defenders. He doesn't play either.
Yeah, he doesn't play much.
Probably because of the defense mainly and the playmaking. But yeah, Jalen Reed, Steven Adams, probably our worst defenders. And then we got our best
talent was there.
Tyrese is that good. I'm just letting you know Tyrese is.
The reason why I said what I had said earlier on, Mars, and I'm sticking to it, barring any injuries. The reason I felt like the talent was there. I just felt like the culture wasn't there. I felt like that was the problem. And this group had been together for a little while. So it wasn't like, this crew was thrown together. I felt like this group was together for a while. And I thought that Coach Udoka had the cachet to turn this thing around. He had already started last year with it. And when I saw you guys knocking on the play-in door, I'm thinking this next season, I think they're going to be better defensively. I think that Jalen Green is going to take better shots, which he has previous to what he's been doing.
Go start making the shots. I did.
Yeah, that's the problem. That is the problem. He was making shots early, and then now he's in a bit of a slump. But
he's been dealing with a little bit of illness, so I'll be like,
yeah. I feel like Sengun. I'm watching Sengun last night. Basically, he looking like Karl Malone around the box. He burying Miles Turner underneath the rim. I'm loving that. And with that being said, I feel like Amen Thompson, he's a guy that if you have a lead guard that you're not sure about with the basketball, this is not the dude you want in front of you. That is not the dude, because he's going to throw a monkey wrench in everything.
Him and Torrey. Torrey had 6 steals last night.
I never heard Alperen Sengun compared to Karl Malone.
I just thought not as a player, Pen, but what I'm saying, Malone used to. There was this thing that Malone did. I'll never forget it for as long as
we are very familiar with the allegations.
Yes, there was this thing that Malone used to do where there was cross screen action where the Jazz would run this cross screen, and Malone would bury guys underneath the basket, not in the block, just right. Like if this was the rim, he'd bury a guy underneath the basket and ask for the ball right here and use the rim as protection.
How old were they?
How old? Well,
I didn't say it today. Just because
what I'm saying is that I felt like Sengun was ridiculously physical with Miles Turner last night.
He's ridiculously physical at everybody.
Yeah, he's ridiculously physical in general. The one thing he struggles with is extremely tall, longer defenders.
So bigger guys.
But even then, he'll push you off your spot. He'll give you 17 pump fakes. He'll bump you. He plays physical. Our whole team plays physical. If I'm being honest, other than probably Jalen. Jalen's probably the least physical one, but he doesn't back
It's
down.
crazy
He just-
too. Y'all got a bunch of young Thundercats over there.
They do, Ron.
They not scared
They
to rumble.
do.
And
They
I
do.
mean, the large part of it, we just talked about Şengün down low. Also, obviously, you got Steven Adams, Dylan Brooks. We've been knew Dylan Brooks ain't no punk. Dylan Brooks then took it to LeBron multiple times and a bunch of other people. But once again, these young guys like Torrey and the men, they not scared of a confrontation. They not scared to get in your face. They not scared of contact. They not scared to push you around. And this is offensively and defensively. How many times I've seen a Min and Tari get downhill and initiate the contact? Just literally take the ball straight into your chest.
Well, Ron, where do you think that comes from,
major.
though? Like, I'm glad you brought that up, Ron, because where do you think that comes from? We talked earlier about the leadership in Philadelphia. Where do you think that comes from in Houston?
Ime.
I'll give Ime his credit, but I mean, part of it too is you got to be a dog initially.
Tari was
No,
a dog at LSU. Tari was a
yeah.
dog at LSU.
You remember that
That's
team under Steven Silas? Come on,
Yeah,
man.
but Tari wasn't
Give
there.
Ime his flowers.
Tari was there his rookie year, but that doesn't count.
I'm
ran
saying you
him out of
gotta
Boston.
already be a dog,
Yeah.
but you could turn a dog into,
They ran him out of Boston for being a
somebody
consenting
who
adult.
gotta be on the
Come
leash,
on,
otherwise
man.
it's gonna be trouble for the whole neighborhood.
I mean,
Hey,
we've
seen pit bulls be nice lap dogs.
I'm
We've
one of
seen
these
that.
people. I'm one of these people, Mars, that I don't believe that you could put the dog in somebody. You either have it in you or you don't, and that person can bring it.
But
out.
you can get it.
I'm
out,
literally
so, yeah.
rooting for the
Yeah.
Rockets because of Ime Udoka.
I am
Yeah.
too.
I just find it fun. Like, we can't score the basketball, but yet we're a top half offense, solely off offensive rebounds and not turning the ball over. But we can't score. Our whole team is inefficient. I think we're like the third least efficient team in the NBA in terms of true shooting, EFG, whatever you want to do. We can't put the ball in the basket efficiently. We're like one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the NBA in terms of percentage. I think we're third worst in 3-point percentage, third worst in true shooting, and fourth worst in EFG. And we're the 14th best offense in the NBA solely because we rebound. We rebound and don't make mistakes. But we can't score. The whole team can't score. So
now, let me ask you this, Mars. With that being said, what you're talking about shooting the long ball and that your shooting woes, isn't that something that's you bring this up all the time? Isn't that a variance? Like we were
bad last year.
But here's the difference though. Like Jalen Green wasn't shooting bad early in the season. We kind of went the other way, and with him going the other way. Same thing with Jabari Smith. I think Jabari Smith can be better. 100% he can be better at the long ball. But the difference is that I think he needs to take better shots. I think he lives behind the long ball line, and I think that's the league we live in right now. I think that if he played more in between to get that game going, I think that he would be better. Sengun, on the other hand, or as Chandler Fry calls him, Senguini plays around the basket, which I feel like that makes him that makes him so much better. That makes him so much better, especially him getting to the rim. I think this shooting variance that you have, Moss, I think it's going to get better. I do.
Yeah,
I mean, I hope
it's
so.
going to get better too. Like,
I think it's going to get better.
He's not just going to keep shooting 20% or whatever the case may be. You know, Jalen Green.
He's got up to 31%. So shout out to Jabari.
He's going to be all right. He'll get to 35, 36. He'll be all right. And Jalen, like just the type of game Jalen has and the shots he shoots, he's going to be up and down. He's going to go on heaters, then he's going to go cold for a couple games. You guys will be all right. I'm not saying that you guys' offense is going to be top 5 or anything like that, but shots that are being missed, that's like the least of my concern. Especially if you're rocking down on defense.
If we can be mediocre offensively, get out in transition, force turnovers that we do, get the easy ones. We might struggle in the half court, but if we're hustling, rebounding, and our defense is as good as it's been, I think we're a good team. Now, I don't know where that leaves us, but I know if we were in the East, we're a top 5 seed, easy. Come the end of the season, easy.
But in the East, you would have to deal with the best player in the league.
Yeah, but like we'll be all right. Yeah, I mean
Jakob Poeltl.
Yeah, I seen Penn posted the stat. He's the first person to
I don't think Chill reads the comments. Chilltown. Amazing. I want to see your live reaction to this. Jakob Poeltl is the first player in NBA history to have 70 points, 20 offensive rebounds, 20 defensive rebounds on 70% shooting in a 3-game span since this player. Who is that player? And when did he do it?
Wow. I was there.
Chamberlain? No, not Chamberlain, because Chamberlain probably did it.
Ask
they didn't track offensive rebounds.
It's in the 90s. It's in the 90s. It's a
3 games, 70%. 3 games, 70% shooting. Shaq?
Shaquille O'Neal in
Wow.
1994 from January 19th.
I guessed that, Mars. I promise you.
Yeah, but you was there. You was
January,
there.
January 19th to January 22nd, Shaquille O'Neal. No one has done it in 25 years.
Wow.
That's
How about
crazy.
That isn't that.
Well, that's 30 years actually.
Mhm.
30 years, my bad.
All right, so I got
L basketball.
a couple
math.
more games that I want to highlight, and then we gonna get into these super chats. There was another game in LA last night, and the Clippers pulled it off, and they for the most part handled the Magic last night. But the final score was 104-93. Both teams are now 9-7. The Clippers snapped the Orlando Magic's 5-game winning streak, and they going to win a streak themselves. James Harden had 24 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists.
That's what we do, man. Harden FC. That's what we do.
There's 100% something living in that thing. I'm certain of it. There is something living in that thing. I don't know what, but there's something living in that thing.
Look how revolutionary he
system.
looks, man.
The
Look how
system
revolutionary-
lives in that thing.
Something.
Look
something
how
living in that
revolutionary he just looks. You could just see he's oozing revolution.
Who's the revolution?
No Norman Powell last night, neither, by the way.
And last but not least, the last game of the night, we spoke on the Sixers a lot this episode, but we didn't speak too much on the game. Without Ja Morant, the Memphis Grizzlies beat up on the Philadelphia 76ers and win the game by a score of 117-111. Yes, Paul George did get injured. Joel Embiid did have 35 points last night, but they ended up losing. And now the Memphis Grizzlies are 9-7, and the Philadelphia 76ers
Without Ja Morant. They beat them without Ja Morant.
No Ja last night.
Desmond Bane did have a double-double, 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 6.
I am watching more of him because of you, Penn. I am watching more of.
You like him?
When you told me about him and Bradley Beal, I'm like, all right, I got to start paying more attention to Desmond Bane. I like his stop and pop game. I do. I like his stop and pop game. And his defense, I like it. I like how much he competes on defense. He's a lot smarter than I gave him credit for as a defender. He doesn't foul as much. He's really good at beating guys to spots. I like that about him. His hands stay busier, considering he doesn't have a huge wingspan. His hands stay busy. I really like that about him. I'm paying more attention to Desmond Bane than I did in the past.
I'm glad.
Y'all do turn me on to guys, just so y'all know. Y'all. That's how I find out about guys. How you think I found out about Herb Jones? Somebody told me about it.
That's
Hip
awesome.
named Slickback said, Philly, don't fret. The store is open, not too far up north. Y'all got some nice picks. Cam Johnson is waiting and ready. Come get him.
Cam Johnson would be nice, but I don't know why a tanking team would want Cam Johnson.
That's true. Cam Johnson's great.
At the Buzzer Sports said, if the Bucks make it back to a top 3 seed, what's Giannis MVP case? He's playing really well. And that's from John D, who was on the show earlier today.
He is playing really well.
I mean, he'd probably be like second for me, probably.
Second in MVP talk, Mars?
Behind Jokic?
Yeah, to me, probably.
Yeah.
But
because you stuck on this logic that Jason Tatum can't win it off the strength of Jason Tatum, the caliber player that he is.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the MVP is who plays the best.
Right.
I don't think Jason Tatum's playing the best. So
but top 3 seed in the East would be the 9th best team in the West. Sorry, like you know what I mean? So I don't think the top 3 seed in the East matters if there's 7 teams that are better than you in the West. I don't think that's going to swing the narrative at all. Like if you're a 47 win team, there's a chance 47 win team gets you top 3 seed this year.
Until we go 1 through 16 in the playoffs, it has to mean something. Until we put it together, the top 3 seed in the East means something. Until we go 1 through 16 into the playoffs, because what do you mean why? If we need to go 1 through 16 to the playoffs. If
we just had that.
If Sacramento is a 50 win team and they're a play-in team, and Milwaukee is a 45 win team, you don't care. You don't care.
I mean,
you're willing to say Milwaukee's better than Sacramento, even though Sacramento has 5 more wins.
It's not necessarily better, but I'm saying if we're gonna judge that MVP thing based on if this 3rd seed doesn't mean anything in the East, then make it not mean nothing. That means it doesn't mean nothing in the playoffs either.
Okay, so you're trying to push the 1 through 16 agenda.
Yes.
He's been trying to do that.
That's a great idea. I agree with you. 100%.
But last year, the 3rd seed in the East actually was the playing record in the West. Like
shit, college basketball does it. Why can't they do it?
Travel is what they say.
That's
Oh,
bullshit.
they got money. They could travel. It's no big deal.
Hey, what you call it? These dudes fly private now.
I'm just
We
saying
had
that's
to
what they say. I'm
Just
just
space, give them an extra, 6 hours to travel, whatever, man. Like, how long does it take to go from Toronto to, or New York to Sacramento? It's like 3 hours.
5 hours
So the
flight.
third seed
Five
last year,
hours.
the third seed last year in the NBA in the East, that was Milwaukee. That's good. Those 49 wins, that's good enough for the 6th best record in the West.
Same
good.
record as the 7th seed. The
Yeah,
Pelicans.
but when there's teams winning 60, 62, 66 games, 46, 48 wins, not moving you.
Well,
That's not moving me in an MVP
how
conversation
often-
unless you do something really historic.
Even if that's true, though, Penn. I mean, how often does that happen? How often do we have a like? I think the East is going to have 2 60-win teams this year. But I mean, when you have 2 60-win teams in a conference, that means that the rest of the conference isn't very good. I mean, last year we had some real good parity in the West where we had 8 teams win. Let's see, 1, 2,
Had 11
3,
teams
four,
above
the
500.
worst
11
part
teams
about
under,
this
11
is
teams over 500.
it's not even an apples to apples comparison because
had
the teams
8
in the West have
the
to
East.
play better teams, right? So if there is a team in the West that ends up winning 50 games, I rate that 50 games better than I would for a team in the East getting 50 wins because I didn't get to face Washington, Toronto, Philly, Detroit, Charlotte. I didn't get to face these teams.
But you did get to face Portland and Utah. You had to deal with them though.
Yeah, but
Why did Detroit get thrown in this? We good.
okay,
last year, Mark.
if we did a real legit power ranking of the top
Sure.
20 teams, more of them would be from the West than the East.
Mhm.
Okay, 100%.
Well, we are going to
I'm
do
on
that
that.
in about 9 days, Pin. December
I'm on
1st is coming up on us.
Again, we just did it like 2 days ago.
No, we
What
didn't.
the hell?
We're
Mark,
doing
Mark,
it.
you
I
didn't
remember
get
the power
memo?
ranking. It was like last week.
Mars, you didn't get the memo, bro?
Oh my
Excuse
god!
me.
I'm not gonna lie.
Were
I'm
you
about
not
to
at the
send
team
Ron-
meeting, Morris?
I'm about to send Ron the same list I just sent him a month ago, man. I ain't.
That's inaccurate. Mars, you got time to do another list, bro.
Yes, you do, Mars.
You
You
be
right.
all
Them
right,
lists
bro.
be long
No,
as hell.
I
You
know he
how much
doesn't.
I
He don't got time to come on
just
playback.
send
or doing
just
that.
send the same list every single
Morris
month and just call
barely
it
got time to be
consistency.
on here. Barely.
You got
Yeah, we got about
know.
13 minutes to get through these.
We
super
all
chats,
got
man.
24
we do.
hours.
You're right. You're right,
Morris
Morris.
only got 4 hours.
Since we only got
All he
13
got.
minutes, I just want to make something real clear, real quick. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page. Chill, Pin, because this I think y'all was one of. So we're not respecting Andre Agassi.
You can respect Andre Agassi. He just wasn't better than Pete Sampras. That's all.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's all I'm saying.
And shout out
Make
to
sure.
Pete Sampras.
Mhm.
Just want to make sure.
K Spiffy said, so no Black Friday event. Get PC off the floor. Well, okay.
When is Black Friday?
Next Friday.
Day after Thanksgiving, so that's gonna be the 29th, I think, Morris.
Oh, so next Friday. Okay.
Yeah, 29th. Yeah.
K, I guess you'll just have to wait and see.
Damn,
Maybe not, maybe so, but you won't know until Black Friday comes around.
man, put us in the loop, bro. We're trying to figure out what's the goings on.
We don't find out until the day of the show. It's like, oh, by the way, we're doing this, and it's like, oh yeah, just go along with it.
I try to message him.
You
the
don't.
night
You're
before.
not in the chat, Morris. The production meetings. You don't.
Y'all need to.
Yeah,
You
Mark,
need,
I have-
Mars,
I
that's
have
on. That's on
everything
you.
muted. I have
You're
everything
showing up with that
You have
Joel
everything
Embiid
muted.
work.
So don't say
work
don't say
ethic.
we don't find out. Say that
No, no,
you-
Mark.
If I don't, if
you
hey,
made
let's
your
be,
phone.
if I don't find out, if the best player don't find out, no one found out. I don't know what to tell you. If I'm not,
That's
sure what's
clearly
going
not how
on-
it works. Joel
If I'm not
Embiid
sure,
showing up,
if I'm
showing
not
up
sure
late,
what's going
Ryan.
on,
You gotta
if
stop.
I'm not sure
Mars
what's going
literally
on, then
Joel
then
Embiid
everything
up in
can't
here.
function correctly. If I don't know what's going on, it can't function. You role players might know your spots, but if I don't know where I'm supposed to be, like the offense going
Role
offense
players?
stagnant. The offense
Oh,
was
no,
stagnant.
it seemed like the team getting better and better.
Now
The
you know
more-
why he
the
don't
more
get back on
dysfunctional
defense. He
you
thinks
are.
I might be a
there.
vet, Mars. Let's be clear. I might
Yeah,
be one.
Taj Gibson a vet. You
I
better
might be one of the
playing his
ancient
role
vets,
for
but I can
LaMelo.
still go. I still help
Yeah,
the crew a lot.
Taj Gibson a vet, but he playing his role for LaMelo, set them screens. Yeah.
The more dysfunctional you get, the better we get, Morris. Keep it up. Keep showing up late to planes.
Okay.
Jordan Majors said, great win for my Knicks last night, but we are up 20, and for some reason, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and OG Anunoby are in the game. I'm telling you, these minutes, man, shaking my
I'm
head.
trying to figure out what you guys want with the Knicks. Who is Thibodeau gonna play? You keep telling me this with Tibbs. Yo, he keeps playing this guy. He keeps playing that guy too much. Who is he going to play? Okay,
Chill,
you got Jalen.
20 is no excuse, bro. You
Okay.
have 20, 30. Get these guys off the floor. It's
Why
a
you keep
long
saying
ass
that,
NBA
Ron?
season.
The
Put
20
the
points
rookies in the game.
Ron,
You
in
got
the
a
NBA,
12-man
20
roster.
points is not a lot of points anymore, man.
All right, well then
It's
put it back
not.
in when it gets to a 10. In you know what it is?
OG, Mikal, Josh, Jericho Sims, who isn't very good, Karl Anthony Towns, Miles McBride, Cameron Payne. That's it. You got 8 guys. After that,
these
I
are
don't know.
the flaws.
I
These are the
think
flaws
the
you
jury.
have to-
I think the jury's still out. I think Jericho might need a retrial. Mars and Chill. I think Jericho might need a
You
retrial.
seen it? You seen he not good? What are you doing?
Jericho, I'm not mad at Jericho.
Jericho might need a retrial.
Somebody got to play. Mars, somebody got to play. Like you got to deal with it. Jericho, go catch these lobs and get as many rebounds as you can.
Jericho going to show up.
We just got it. We got to deal with your flaws.
With public defender swiper.
What, his flaws of being able to play basketball? We just gotta live with that.
My thing, Chill.
I'm listening.
Is this gonna hurt you a whole lot more when one of these guys rolls an ankle or something else happens and they miss an extended period of time?
Which could happen when I'm playing 20 minutes.
And I get that, but it's more. The more you play, the more likely the injury is gonna be, and you're also gonna feel stupid if a guy gets hurt when you're up 30 in the fourth quarter, as opposed to if a guy gets hurt in the second quarter and or third quarter and it's a good game.
3 minutes left, up 20. You gotta take these dudes out.
And that's all I'm saying. And here's my thing too. Even if we got a 20-point lead in the fourth quarter and it's 9 minutes to go, play them rookies. Because at some point you are going to need Tyler Kolek. You're going to need what's his name? Pacome?
Yeah.
Pacome? Pacom. Yeah. At some point you're gonna need Pacom and some of these other guys too. And so like you got it. This is the only way you can get these guys ready. In the playoffs, one of these, just like last year, one of these guys might go down. You might miss Josh Hart for a couple games. The next guy got to be able to step up. And the only way they're gonna be halfway competent is by getting them reps. So like these are the flaws you deal with when you go top heavy. You gonna have guys that are at the bottom that aren't gonna be as good. But those guys got to learn how to play within the system of, playing with these other guys or playing your system or even playing minutes with Jalen Brunson and KAT. They just got to learn.
Pacom not going to learn the system. He is the system.
If you still got KAT in the game, maybe like you said, JB in the game, or let's say OG or Mikal still playing, I think you got to start getting these guys into the mix a little more, resting Josh Hart, resting OG a little more, letting these guys play, because to Ron's point, you're going to need these guys later into the season, and you can't just throw some guy into the mix late March. Like, hey, you're supposed to know this stuff. Like, coach, I haven't been able to play. I've been watching Josh Hart play for 47 minutes a game. So I definitely feel you on that. And it's not even when we're up 20, even when it's a good game, we might be up 5, we might be down 3. Man, put this kid in the game for a second just to see if he can hold the front. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to play great, but don't go in and just play bad. But we'll never know if you never get on the court.
Fair enough.
Malachi White said the Spurs.
It's Makai
White said the Spurs, who are the 12th seed in the West and have mainly played West teams, would be the 5th seed in the East. The East sucks.
Facts. I agree.
Appreciate you, Malachi. Slitherman said, Penn is trying to say great offensive players limit the other team's offensive opportunities because they are attacking a set defense more often.
Thank you, Slitherman.
Yeah, well, I know what
we hashed that to death.
I've used the same argument to say Bill Russell was a really good offensive player because he started transition so much with his defense.
It's fair.
Yeah, that's why he the
That's
GOAT.
not fair.
That's why he the GOAT.
That's it. Good job pulling that one.
You already know where I'm at with it, Mars. I think I can hit you more than I can stop you from hitting me.
He was my number 2 on my GOAT ranking.
I can hit you more than I can stop you from hitting
so
me.
Close to being right, Penn. So close.
Emperor Beast Kato, for what it's worth, said Oxford is correct. Embiid is the all-time talent. His injuries are unfortunate. His personality and intangibles make me despise him as a player.
It's the flopping too. The flopping is just crazy.
Dirty plays as well. The compilation of this dude trying to injure other dudes and just generally, did he flop on a free throw?
Y'all
seen that?
He had to let the
y'all
ref know
seen
there was
that?
contact.
The flailing motion?
He had to let the ref know there was contact. I don't know what to tell you. It was contact.
Did they leave a window open? Did the air
Basketball
get him? What the hell happened?
He had to let the ref know there was contact, man. He needed an M1 on that free throw.
bro.
YBLJ said Cooper Flag, Tyrese Maxey, and Joel Embiid, question mark. The process lives on in Philly, 2026. Champ.
I got us in 2020. I feel like this year, we're probably not winning it this year. 2026, though, Philly in 6. Yeah.
Bring back Markelle Fultz. Bring back Michael Carter Williams. Bring them all back. It's a reunion show.
Local Sniper said if the Warriors win the championship this year, is this last decade Steph's era?
That'll be what, 5 chips in a decade? It'll be the Warriors era, probably. That'll be like the most memorable thing from the era. Well, maybe Steph, like by virtue of it being the Warriors. But I was thinking, and I'm not saying this is true, but I was thinking because I seen like a clip of like on X of LeBron and Steph's when they first met up for the first time in Steph's rookie year in 2009. And Steph came into the league in 2009. LeBron was already the best player in the world, or arguably. Steph went on to have an arguably top 10 player of all time career during that stretch. And you could argue, I don't know if I would make the argument, but you could definitely make an argument that LeBron was better than him the whole time. You could make that argument.
Yes.
Steph enters the league, and LeBron is arguably the best player in the world. Top 2 for most people. Steph goes on to have a whole career where he's arguably one of the 10 best players to ever play. And that whole time while Steph's had that career, you could argue LeBron was better than him that whole time.
You can ask the question, Mars, at what point, and you and me had this conversation a while ago, and I think it was in 15, 16. At what point can you say that Steph Curry was the best player in the world?
For me, I'm going to put it out there. I think there was years where Steph was better than LeBron. Some of it's due to injuries, some of it's due to other things. I think Steph was just better. But for me, the years that Steph has the strongest case to be the best player in the world would be 2016, 2019, and 2021. Those are the 3 years I think he has the strongest argument to be. And 2015. So 2015, 2016, 2019, and 2021 are the 4 years I think Steph has the strongest case to be the best player in the world. And I think he probably was the best player in the world in a couple of those years. But yeah, but you could argue LeBron was better than him. I'm not saying he was. I'm saying you can make that argument, which I think is crazy because that's a top 10 player of all time, arguably, that LeBron was damn near better.
So, and I think that's where the divide is, Moss, because I don't ever think he was better than James.
Yeah, but that's my point. That you could make the argument that LeBron was better every single year, and Steph is arguably a top 10 player, top 15, damn near for everyone. Like that's ridiculous. And like, if you want to go more longevity, you could make the same argument that LeBron has been better than Kevin Durant every single year of Kevin Durant's career. And Kevin Durant is another top 15 all-time player for most people. Like, that's ridiculous. And even if you think Kevin Durant has years he was better than him, which I probably do as well, but the fact that you can make the argument is ridiculous. Like, he's on something. I don't care. He's on something.
Bread Boy became a YouTube member today. Shout out to Bread Boy. Toxic Hoodie sent through a member's chat. He's been around for 9 months. He said, so is it street clothes, Joel, at this point? And keep producing great content. Dub show, dub panel, L late host.
L host for sure. L host.
Trash.
Joel's something. I wouldn't call him street clothes, but he's something.
No Layers became a YouTube member today.
Nope.
Hanzo has been a member for 11 months. He said, I know Chill and Ox been creaming themselves this season with these Luka takes.
I'm sure that you would be doing the same thing if Jason Tatum was whack. I'm sure you would be doing the exact same thing.
But Jason Tatum is whack. But
he is not.
Okay.
Creaming? You could have used a better
Creaming
word
is
than that.
wild. Okay.
Yeah, super wild, but he would be doing the same thing.
Snowbird Sneakers sent through a members chat. He said, J. Cole, a GOAT, period.
Okay.
Antoine Williams became a YouTube member. Only one Wizard Kelly has been a member for a month. Shout out to Wizard Kelly and shout out to Antoine. I got another super chat from MP13. He said, who's the worst player down the list you can name to start a franchise before you get to Joel? I'm thinking 25 to 30 players.
We might have to take a whole episode to do that. I don't think it's a quick segment. Nah.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, how many players are in the league that you would today, if you had to start a franchise. Seattle just got a franchise.
Franz Wagner, would you start a franchise with him?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So there's a lot of players.
Yo,
there's like at least
go
25.
through all the first and
That's what
second
I'm talking
options
about.
in the NBA.
Yes.
We're getting
exactly.
the third options before I start a franchise with Joel.
I ain't doing that, Ron. Let's chill out.
All right. I'm chill. We're talking about a
doing that.
franchise. If you're giving me a season, if You're talking about okay,
You're
we're
not,
signing Joel.
you're not starting with Brandon Ingram. Let's be real.
Not,
Yes,
bro.
I am.
No.
100%. What?
We don't have time for
Are
this.
you?
I
We
get
don't.
8 years of Brandon Ingram versus 2 years of Joel Embiid with him not playing back to backs, with him being late to meetings and all of this, bro. 100%. When Seattle comes
Embiid
back,
or Kawhi? Embiid or Kawhi?
Embiid.
Okay, just asking. Just asking.
Oh Lord.
I'm
doing-
taking
the
Brandon
same thing
Ingram
apply-
and
the same
Keegan
thing
Murray.
applies with Kawhi. So I'm
Okay.
not taking Kawhi.
Jeremy
When
Grant.
Seattle
See,
comes,
we started
Kawhi
with
don't even
we
think
started
about
with
bringing
Franz
your ass up
Wagner,
here.
and the conversation was logical, and then we went off a cliff.
DeAndre
We're talking about-
Ayton.
Are we talking about for a season or
What?
to start a franchise?
Yeah,
Like,
DeAndre
Ron,
DeAndre
Ayton.
super chats. Ron,
Yeah,
super
Ben,
chats.
DeAndre
No.
Ayton for sure.
You literally came on and just
What?
Aiden,
It's just my opinion,
Yes.
fam. I'm allowed to have an
Yes.
opinion, fam.
not
Yeah,
in
nah,
your
three-
opinion.
nah,
you are
DeAndre
allowed to have
Ayton
an
is better
opinion.
than
You are
Joel
allowed to have an
Embiid. What
opinion.
the hell?
I didn't say it
Somebody
was
said they're
better. I'm saying
better.
for a
You'd
franchise.
rather start a franchise
I don't
with him.
think Keegan. I don't think Keegan Murray's better, but I'm taking Keegan too.
You don't think Keegan's better? Wow, that's a hot take.
No, what?
Wayne
that's kinda hot.
Nettles said, "Why is KD over Wade?" Without an argument for you guys. Well, except Ron. What has he done, and what does he do that makes him clear Wade?
Play
Longer
basketball really
Watch
well
this.
for a really long
Good
time.
question. I want
There
to
you
know
go.
that too.
He played basketball really well for a really long time.
Yeah, peak for peak, they're really close, but I think Katie just did it for way longer.
Oh, yeah,
Irda
I do that.
said, "Mars' other king, Embiid, being exposed in real time warms my heart. Guess he's not really good at basketball anymore."
Yes,
Winky
he is.
emojis.
I
He's
guess
really
not.
good at
I mean,
basketball.
He still
Just
is.
don't
Yes,
know
he
what
is.
to tell you. He's a
Mars,
bust.
he sending you winky emojis? What you and Irda got
Yes,
going
he
on?
is.
Don't worry. Lincoln back.
Cultured Bandard. Cultured
Bandit.
Bandard. Well, his name is Sonder, but Bandit, so I put them together. Cultured Bonder said the Luka convo doesn't even go in circles anymore. It's an oval at this point, a long ass circle. Laughing emojis. Elron, do your job. Respect Steph said people get mad when they hear it, but Luka is literally Harden, who will never win nothing. Harden never got top three talks in his peak, by the way.
That's not
he
true.
did.
Revision is history.
not
of
Yes,
trade.
he did,
Okay.
and Luka
Revision
just missed the
is
finals
not
last year.
true.
So let's,
Revisionist history is
Mm.
ridiculous. James Harden was being called the best player in the world in 2019.
Yes, that was going on. That was a real
By
conversation.
who?
Yes.
The
A lot of
masses,
people.
the consensus,
Yes.
the media, the
Ox,
world.
that year he was averaging
Maybe
36,
over there.
50 and 10, triple doubles,
We're
60 and
not
10,
doing
triple
this.
doubles.
We're not
That was really
doing
going
this.
on, Ox. That
I
was
don't know
really,
what
LeBron
y'all
gets
was talking
hurt. James
What
Harden's
kind of bubble
averaging
talk do y'all
600.
go to?
yeah, that was really going on. 100% that was happening.
We not.
I don't know. I don't know what barber.
I remember the James Harden conversations 5 years ago. I may
Yeah.
have been four,
I
but I
don't.
remember those conversations.
Oh,
that was a long time ago. I can't remember.
they were
2019.
polarizing
There's a lot going
conversations,
on.
but they were being had for sure.
Definitely top three. I don't.
Mhm.
Those conversations for sure.
Your Highness Charles said Pandemic P is hurt again.
Paramedic.
Paramedic. He meant
I'm
pandemic
cool
though,
with that.
No, he meant paramedic because he's saying he's always hurt. That's what he's saying.
but
He's
paramedics
meaning-
help you.
Yeah, but that's what he's saying. He's saying he needs paramedics.
Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Jordan Major said Nick Nurse also deserves a ton of blame.
I'm blaming Jared McCain, man. He came in.
He did kind of throw a monkey wrench in this month. He wasn't
Jared
supposed to be this
McCain-
good, yo.
Nah,
He wasn't.
he come into the locker room with his nails painted. It threw the vibe off. That's the problem.
Y'all heard the
That's
story about
possible.
Paul George?
It's
About
Jared
Paul George
McCain.
getting
Progressive
frustrated?
take.
It's
Yeah,
Jared McCain's fault. That's the.
Y'all heard the story about Paul George getting frustrated and coming in the locker room? And,
They realize
and-
that's the
and-
problem.
And kicking Jared McCain's nail polish across the locker room?
He
Yeah,
did
he
that?
did. He didn't have to do that. That's cold.
They're getting blown out by 20, and then Jared McCain doing TikToks. Like, come on, man, that's killing the vibe. That's the problem.
Well,
It's
Maybe
not
they
even-
need to join the TikTok stand.
That's
Ask
the
for nail
problem.
polish.
Jared
They
McCain is
got-
the one to blame.
They got to loosen up a bit. It's just people just so uptight. You know what I'm saying, man? Have
It's
fun,
uppity.
man. Get loose, man. Shit.
Luka Glazer 77 said, Embiid, you are a Dallas Maverick.
Luka would never accept being the second best player on his team.
Oh Lord.
He's already
But
second
see-
best player on the team.
I agree,
Bro.
but he's
So-
trying his hardest not to accept it.
Shout out, Kyrie.
Back shots. Kyrie.
Masinko said, peace and blessings. Shout out to Ben Wilson. Just cuz. RIP.
Who's been more
Fellas.
successful?
I hope. You know
All right,
what?
chill. Benji.
All right, chill.
See y'all tomorrow,
Merry
yo.
Christmas. Merry
Peace.
Christmas.
Peace.
I'm bringing
Yeah,
up
shout
these takes. When Luka starts cooking later this season, this episode's coming back.
Yeah, we'll just
With
say it's a lucky
receipts.
stretch. It's a lucky
With
stretch. That's all I'll say.
receipts.
Lucky stretch.
Not this
Okay.
one. This go about 2 episodes back. We was really getting on Luka that episode.
I mean, I defended Luka today against Trae Young.
Football CF Candy said, thoughts on Ace Bailey. Looks smoother than Jabari.
He,
What
he
Jabari?
looks.
It's not a high
He,
bar.
he
Parker
looks
Smith?
really. He looked really
What?
awesome.
Not Parker.
He had
bro.
23 points
Definitely
last
not
night,
talking
10
about
rebounds. Made a crazy tough turnaround that got the entire internet going. Like this is
He's been
KD.
knocking down a bunch of
I don't-
turnarounds.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't really think that he's KD. I think he's like a taller RJ Barrett. And I'm gonna stick to that until I see something else. Like I think his handle's a little bit weak. I think sometimes he struggles to get separation at that level. And I really don't I don't really trust his decision making in the half court. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm still Cooper's number one, but yeah, I would take AJ DeBonsa over both of them though. That's
I'm
for
not
sure.
as high on Ace Bailey, but everyone knows my track record with wings, so I guess he's going to be a superstar.
Hmm.
Davon, aka Schoolboy Beats, said, "Cut it out. Nick Nurse is a YouTube Doc Rivers.
White
Yeah.
Doc
No, you-
Rivers.
The YouTube,
It's white
YouTube,
Doc Rivers.
YouTube.
Has to be
YouTube.
YouTube. I heard Nick Nurse be doing YouTube, so I got to be YouTube.
Yeah.
No, he's definitely not Doc Rivers, but he's
I heard
terrible for a
Nick
whole
Nurse
different
gets his coaching strategy from YouTube.
That's crazy."
Hmm.
Davon, aka Schoolboy Beats, said 4 GMs in 10 years with bad rosters builds is terrible. With bad roster builds is terrible.
Who's that? Philly?
Have they went
Philly
through 4
hasn't had
GMs?
4 GMs in 10 years.
They had, how long ago was Hinkie?
At least 6-7 years. And then Brian Colangelo took over.
And
for
then
him.
they had Elton Brands, and now they got Daryl Morey, right? That's 4.
Oh shit! But has that
Elton
been
Brand
10
was the
years?
GM?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. How long ago was
I
Sam
thought
Hinkie?
Elton Brand was a while back. I didn't know that was.
And he was an advisor. I don't think he was a GM.
Yeah,
I'm not very well versed in like front office and stuff. I watch what's on the court. I don't know too much, but I assumed he was talking about Philly. I don't know though.
Alan L said, "Hey, Najee said Luka all defense this year."
And he's in the league, so he know what he's talking about. Draymond Green said James Harden was revolutionary. I seen that clip. So
Najee is trolling. You can see the disgust on his face when he's out there playing with Luka Doncic.
that was discussed about something else. He remembered that he left something in the oven. It was like, damn. Yes.
Nah, probably not. Probably the fact that he's playing with a bum on defense.
Respect Steph said, "No, Luka rebounds are uncontested. Tell him, Mars."
A lot of them are, to be fair. But his rebound has been better this year, in my opinion, than like previous years. But still, a lot of rebounds are uncontested nowadays because a lot of teams don't crash. Some teams do though, but a lot of teams still aren't.
Realist Uno Dos Tres said Kyrie did say he uses his offense as defense.
Yeah, it's not a foreign concept. It's just I feel like it's a slippery slope.
Mitsu said, "This is the best panel lineup. This episode is heat."
Shout out to you.
Big shout outs to Mitsu, who's been spamming super chats on our videos as well. It's really cool. To answer the question about the Philly, it's Sam Hinkie was 2014 to 2016, then it was Brian Colangelo 2017 to
Brian
2018,
Colangelo.
and then it was Elton Brand.
Oh, so I was right.
Elton Brand was.
But it's 3, not 4.
Oh, wait, so
No,
Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey's
Daryl
right
Morey. Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey's
Yes.
general manager right now, or is he president?
I don't know.
I thought he was GM right now.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Oh, so
who's
Elton
the
Brand's
GM right
still
now?
the GM. I thought Elton Brand was the GM a while back. I didn't even know he was now. Okay, that's what's
Oh,
up.
damn. Okay, well, I was close to being right.
Yeah.
Realist 123 said, "Off topic, but Tari Eason is 100% a contender for 6-man."
He should win it.
Can you really have an off-topic super chat though?
I mean, yeah.
Well, this one is
No, I
technically
mean,
off topic,
I'm
if
talking
that's the
about
case.
you can read it off topic, but can you send it off topic? Like you send super chats about whatever you want. It's not really off topic, bro. Go ahead.
Alan L with the on-topic super chat. He said, "Yeah, Ox spitting. J. Cole clears."
Facts, Alan. Facts. See, me and Alan, we locked in. We right here.
Mitsu with another super chat. He said, "Jordan Penn, Swiper, Ox, Chill, Mars, Ron is peak cinema."
Damn, bro.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a
One
lot
mic,
of people.
seven people. That's a lot.
I'll use that as my day off. I'll just be here just sleeping.
Rest well, young brother.
Respect Steph. Said the Mavs are 11th in the West. They would be 5 in the East.
And that's not including the fact that they'd be playing against the Eastern Conference schedule. Like most of these teams, like the 12th seed in the West would, by record, be the 5th seed in the East. They'd probably be the 3rd seed just based on like they destroy the Eastern Conference teams if they played them. But like just off strictly record, they're the 5th seed. And that's them going against Western Conference schedules. If they had an Eastern Conference schedule, other than Boston and Cleveland, they'd probably be the next best team. Like,
Mars, so are you saying I can get you to join this petition?
I'm with you. I've been with you. 1 through
okay.
16. I've been,
Right.
but I'm as a non-American, I don't think I'm factoring in the travel and how like big your country is.
It's not
which is
that
why-
big a deal. It's not that serious.
But I don't know because you fly in private, like what, a 5-hour flight? Like just do a long East Coast
yeah, but
trip.
I'm saying when you fly from Portland to New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? You might as well fly straight from Portland right to maybe not Boston, but you know what I'm saying, to Detroit. I think Portland to Detroit is closer to Portland in New Orleans. So
yeah, I just think all you have to do is just not go from Portland to like Miami and then come back to Portland. Just have a long East
Right.
Coast trip. That's what you would have to do.
I think
In my
Minnesota and Memphis are a consistent disadvantage because of their distance to other Western Conference teams.
I don't think the distance is a disadvantage at all. What's the difference from a 3-hour flight and a 4.5-hour flight? It's really not that big a deal.
Especially when you fly in a luxury.
It's not a big deal if you do it once. It's a big deal when you start accumulating it over an entire season, and especially when you look at it over a 20 season stretch. How much more have the Minnesota Timberwolves had to travel to go to? You know, like sometimes the schedule makers will be like, okay, Minnesota at home, then LA, then back to Minnesota, and then Portland. So
Yeah, but they just got to do a better job. They got to do a better job of schedule. Like,
But
that kind of schedule is much easier for teams that play closer to other teams. Teams like LA, teams like Dallas, where they're a little bit more central. Whereas, you know, like, okay,
LA's not
everybody's
central,
kind of
though. Minnesota's much more central than LA. LA is way on the West Coast.
but
Minnesota
it's
would have it
central
easier.
to the West, because if you look at how the West is laid out, it's pretty much on the edges, right? It's not the middle of the country. We're not playing games in Idaho, right? We're not playing games in North Dakota, right? So mainly it's just
Idaho's
on
right
the
near
edges.
Albuquerque. Idaho's right next door. I can be in Idaho in 4 hours driving.
That's so crazy that like you 4 hours is right next door. Like that's so
that's
crazy.
like that's right there, bro. Like, so I get what you're saying, but like,
bro.
you know what I mean? It's just up to the schedule makers. To your point, I get what you're saying, but I think the schedule makers could do it, and it might be harder. But like I said yesterday, everything you want is on the other side of hard. Just because it's hard don't mean it doesn't need to get done. It will make a better product. The better teams will win. You know what I'm saying? I think that's more than worth the schedule makers sitting down together for a day and figuring out how can we make this work to where the teams don't got to travel from Boston to Portland, then back to Miami, then back to LA, then to Charlotte, because that would be ridiculous. To your point, that makes zero sense. But they could work it out. There's so much money in the NBA.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that difficult to make a schedule that
out.
minimizes travel and have 1 through 16, in my opinion. But I don't know.
John Cena said AJ Green a better defender than he gets credit for. Yeah, that's our starting shooting guard right there.
Now, when you have the white shooter who doesn't get a lot of minutes, the instinct is, oh, he's not guarding, so that's why he doesn't play. Like realistically, like they do be guarding.
Hey, Mars, I'm such a casual. Mars, I'm such a casual, bro. I didn't know AJ Green was white until like 3 days ago.
Hey,
I didn't even know. I was like, yo, who the hell is that?
the first game, like earlier this year, when I was watching AJ Green in the game, and I don't remember who they were playing, but they were playing somebody, and he was guarding. I want to say I can't remember exactly who it is. But I'm like, so he gets switched on him. I'm thinking he got switched on him. And he's guarding the other team's best perimeter player, and I'm like, okay, cool. It's just one possession. The next possession, I see him coming down court, and he's matched up with him. And then I see it again the next possession. And I'm like, why the hell does Doc have AJ Green guarding whoever this player is? Lo and behold, I start watching him and he's sitting down. I'm like, hold on, okay. I see you out there holding. I think it was against the Cavs. He was guarding Donovan Mitchell.
It's like Sam Hauser.
Well, I mean, there's another.
Yeah, I was gonna say
you doing a football player, right, and he happens to be black, right?
Merry Christmas, okay.
All right, y'all. We got a couple more though. Pip named Slickback said Pelicans tanking for Cooper Flag is nasty.
They're getting in the sweepstakes. Good on them.
And last but not least, Local Sniper said, if Steph's still arguably top 10, what does he need to do to become a top 5 player?
I think you can still argue he's top 5 now. I think you can
I
make an
don't
argument.
think so.
I definitely think you can make the argument. I just think it's an outsider argument, but I think you can make the argument.
I think the difficulty is that he won 4 championships and won 1 Finals MVP, and I do think that matters. Right?
Oh, we talking all time?
I'm
I thought,
assuming
I thought he meant in the league right now. Oh, my fault. Oh, my bad. Oh, I misunderstood.
Well, he's definitely not top 5 right now.
I think you can make the argument. I definitely think you can make the argument.
Close
You're not top
to the
5 if
5
you're
and
playing
10.
29 minutes a game and you barely.
He's doing that because he's smacking people. That's why.
Yeah,
No, I get it. I
You
get
playing
it.
29 minutes because
they're blowing
they're
teams out.
destroying them. Yeah, they're destroying them. What's he got to play for? We're not going to do a Tom Thibodeau and play him 38 minutes when they're up 20.
I'm pretty sure that comment was all time.
Hey, I know one thing. If how you just asked me if I'm starting a franchise or if I'm starting a team for a season, it's not 10 players that I'm taking over Steph.
There should be 10 players you take over Steph.
You're not taking 10 players over a 36-year-old?
No.
Oh.
Franchise is different. I'm just gonna go with the season. I'm gonna go with the season.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
if it's
not-
the
it's
season, then sure. If the life of your team ends at the end of the year, like it's fantasy basketball, then yes, fine, take Steph. But if your life goes beyond this year and into 2026 and 2028, yeah, there's like 15 to 20 guys, easy.
Yeah.
And LeBron's one of them because that man never going to decline.
All right, y'all. We will be back tomorrow. Same crew, same time, same
That's not true.
show.
I'm not here tomorrow.
Just better topics. Oh, you don't know that?
Oh, so it's a better show tomorrow. That's good. Good work, guys.
All right.
All right, y'all. We're gonna catch
Merry
you
Christmas.
soon.
Merry Christmas.